This is a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza. Now your hosts, John Snell and Nancy Parker.
Good evening and welcome to the 44th installment of the Endymion Extravaganza, one of Mardi Gras' main events. Thousands, 15,000 people before we're done with this thing. And when you count the bands, we're pushing 20,000 people that will parade through here or take part in this party.
Yeah, this is one of the mega super biggie crews that everyone loves to see, and it wows parade crowds along the route. And the theme this year is Abracadabra, and it says it's the mystic world of illusion at unsurpassed magnitudes. Well, you know what? After the Saints season, it is quite magical. Abracadabra, we're Super Bowl champs. Who knew?
I think they picked this theme well into probably before last year's parade, actually, but it turned out pretty well. And, Endymion's got a long connection with the Saints. Their very first parade, they saluted the Saints in their last float, and it's kind of come full circle tonight.
You know what? They hadn't even played one game when they saluted the Saints, and isn't that sort of just cosmic that this all happened the way it is? Over the next 4 hours, we're not just going to show you this Super Cruise mega parade. We'll also have a live camera on a float to show you what it's like to ride Endymion. Kim Holden, Rob Masson, Don Brown, and Chris Franklin are all along the route with the flavor of the crowds lining the streets.
Also, Jennifer Van Branken, Nikondra Norwood, Natasha Robin, Sean Fazan, Evan Anderson, and Jennifer Hale are on the Dome's floor. We've got a football team down there to help us experience this sold-out party for 13,000 people. Let's begin on Canal Street with Kim Holden and Rob Masson.
Hey guys, we are here on Canal Street where it has been an amazing evening so far. This parade started right on time. A few lulls, but the crowds are incredible. Probably 15 to 20 deep right here along Canal and South Jeff Davis where we are standing.
And they're growing, Kim. Since we've been out here, they were maybe 8 to 10 deep. They've now swollen to about 15 to 20, maybe even 30 deep in some spots. This is just a beautiful spot to watch a parade here. You got the big wide Jeff Davis neutral ground out here. A lot of people picnicking. The smells of the food wafting by is tremendous, but we've got the Salmon Band cranking it up right here. They just got the audience crunked a few minutes ago.
We knew we were going to hear stand up and get crunk all throughout this parade.
It's almost a continuation of the Super Bowl victory parade the other night. A lot of hoodats, a lot of people chanting, a lot of makeshift signs on the floats that have gone by. We've already seen the title float go by, the Abracadabra float, just a little while ago. It looked like they were having a few little electrical issues.
Yeah, they actually stopped the parade, and it's been sitting in front of us for maybe 15 minutes or so because the Abracadabra float, the fiber optic lighting appears to not be working. They stopped, did a little work on it, and got it lit up again, but right as it started taking off again, it went dark.
Went out again, so I'm looking at it now, but I don't think anybody's complaining. They were throwing quite generously. Our platform has just been loaded down 2 or 3 times already, and just we've had 3 floats go by: Papa Joe's SS Endymion, and the smaller one, the first super float of the Super Cruise, commissioned back in 1976, I believe, and then some of the much larger ones too, but. Endymion living up to its name, very, very generous, and we've got another one coming by now.
Sure do. This is one. This is the float number 4. It's called the Philosopher's Stone. Also a pretty big float. This is the stone that was, of course, the legendary substance which made it possible to turn lead into gold. We're talking Greek mythology here, but you can see this is a double-decker looking float, pretty long and loaded down with riders, and here come the beads. As you mentioned, Rob, they've been very generous all night long, throwing just big bags of beads.
And there goes our banner. Our banner's coming down. We're actually going to have to protect ourselves here. You almost need a hard hat. The beads keep getting heavier and heavier every year. It's going to knock the camera around a little bit. This float is flying by, though. After a few little lulls, it looks like they're trying to make up for some lost time to get up to you guys over there in the Superdome. But just a magnificent float. That's a 2-parter, double-decker, probably 70 riders on board, and everyone having a blast. The crowd now watching the next band that comes by, the North Forest High School Band, and got a wonderful cadence going on. Let's see if they play us a song.
Most of the bands have been playing as they pass us here at this intersection. We're here on our little platform here, so maybe they think we're pretty important and they're going to play a little bit for us. We certainly hope so.
We're the judges.
But I think you're right. They're making up for lost time because they have stopped a couple of times since this parade began. And it's a long route to get from here to the Superdome.
We're about midway through their route. They started at Orleans Avenue, a good 2 hours ago. We understand Tom Benson and Gail and Rita Benson LeBlanc were there joining in with the concert that they hold at the Orleans Avenue Neutral Ground. They had the Super Bowl trophy in hand, waving it. Of course, just tens of thousands of people gather at that particular spot with the parade in a completely different mood. It's daylight at that point of the parade. Now, of course, it's dark, and the wonderful fiber optic lights are all on, lighting the way.
All right, this next float, and I want to be sure because some of these floats have been out of order as we've seen so far.
Number 5, Gypsy Fortune Tellers. We could now confirm that we've got the actual float.
We have to wait until it really gets close and gets into eyesight for us to see it. And actually, we were laughing because the King's float came through, and from a distance, we thought it was the Queen's float because that's what it was supposed to be. Well, it got closer, we realized the Queen's float was not in the lineup.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Queen yet. I hope we'll see her at some point. Of course, that's Mardi Gras. I mean, this sort of thing happens. Oh my God, those are 20-foot beads coming in at us. And of course, this float carrying out the theme of Abracadabra, Gypsy Fortune Tellers. Traced from the villages of Romania comes the mystical gypsies who are able to tell one's destiny.
You know, one year, Rob, I actually did wear a hard hat.
Did you?
I caught a football. I did wear a hard hat to the Superdome.
Wow.
Because, you know, when they come in the dome, they really start unloading everything on their float.
Yeah.
And they throw these bags full of beads, and so I said, you know, I'm bringing a hard hat. And it saved me a little bit. Well, I lost it. I don't know what happened to it, so I haven't had a hard hat since then.
Well, they see the camera, they see the light, and they just throw towards it. And they've already taken down our Fox 8 banner.
We're losing a lot up here. We've lost a banner. We almost lost a light. We almost lost Travis, our cameraman, a little bit earlier.
He's shielding himself behind the camera like a smart man.
He looked at me and he said, I think my ear's bleeding. Look at it. And it wasn't, but it feels like it when those beads hit you pretty hard. He's still standing,
so that's a good thing. Okay, we got another band coming now. This is the Edna Carr High School Band from Algiers, Louisiana. They've been busy. I've seen them quite a few times this carnival season already, wearing their purple and gold. And they are not just yet playing a song, but we have a...
We've been out here since about 5:30 when the parade really started coming by, and just to give you an idea, we have a little lull right now with just the band going by. I can't see any floats. Just to give you an idea of what the start of this parade looked like, let's toss it to something we shot a little bit earlier.
At this point, I'd like to introduce the owner of the New Orleans Saints, Mr. Tom Benson, and his wife Gail. And accompanying Mr. Benson is Rita Benson LeBlanc, co-owner and executive.
Endymion Grand Marshal. Now listen here. I want y'all to let him know how much you appreciate what the New Orleans Saints have accomplished this year. World champs, baby. And I want to tell you one other little thing. I'm not preaching, today is not the Sabbath day, but I want you to know there was a time around 25 years ago when Jacksonville wanted a football team. And Jacksonville tried to buy the Saints from the man who owned it in those days. This man came up and said, hell no, that's New Orleans' team. And now, I think we ought to give him a wonderful round of applause because he's done so much for the city. All right. Hey, I want to show you what's in the bag here. Walk up there.
Super Saint.
Super Saint.
Get the Lombardi in there.
All right. Oh, this is wonderful. Even the Lord was good to us. It was a beautiful afternoon. Woo, really. Thank you all very much, boss. Very exciting. Going back to the king here.
Now this guy right here. This guy. Do y'all remember when they had the 12 men on the field and the guy got out of field goal range and the Saints intercepted that pass? This guy kicked us all the way to the Super Bowl.
How's everybody doing this afternoon? It's an honor to be up here on stage with Mr. Benson and all the Saints personnel. And just to be able to get back this trophy and bring it back to the city of New Orleans. Y'all deserve it.
You know, Mr. Benson's the Grand Marshal today, and that's like an Endymion being a king. And every king has a queen, and here's his queen, Mrs. Gail Benson.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Have a nice evening.
Now, the next lady I'm going to introduce, I hope she's better at throwing than she was at catching last night, because she used her eyes to catch a handful of beads at the Hermes parade and had to have a few stitches put in. Today, she's a trooper, she's going to ride, and she's a wonderful asset to the Saints. Rita Benson.
Thank you. Now let's hope we all have a safe time and no one gets hurt. I've told everybody to throw easy if you throw far. But thank you all so much for working hard, living here, going to school here. Everything that you do every day keeps us strong. We rebuilt ourselves, we saved ourselves, and this team played for you because of how we love them. Thank you. Thank you, New Orleans. I love you.
When the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, I want to be in that number. Jump into some who-dats. Y'all help us out. Y'all help us out. Give me some who-dats. Who-dat said they gon' beat them Saints. Who-dat? Who-dat? Who-dat said they gon' beat them Saints.
And what a party that is out there on Orleans Avenue. I mean, people staked out those spots for 2 or 3 days, and Tom Benson, I mean, he looks 20 years younger since he won that big, beautiful silver trophy.
He sure does. And you know, you think about it, Mardi Gras, I mean, gives you a full day of celebration before the parade even begins. There's so much to see, so much to do out there. And with Tom Benson and Gail Benson and Rita and the Saints players showing up, Ed Munez, I mean, just what a treat for people who really have staked out those spots for days. I was surprised to hear about Rita getting stitches in her eye from the Saints victory parade, but she certainly wasn't seeming like she was holding back at all? And
no, she passed by here about 25 minutes ago. Happy to see us, waving.
She tried to throw us an umbrella.
She
We didn't
did.
get it.
She's not quite as strong as some of the others we've seen on this parade, but we've caught plenty of stuff here. They've just been pounding us, and we understand we have a live camera in this parade.
We saw Donnie Pierce go by. He's our photographer on one of the floats, and he is riding the parade, just shooting all the sights and sounds. That float is actually approaching near North Claiborne and Canal Street, so he's getting an unbelievable view.
He was all smiles too. He's on SS Papa Joe Endymion, one of the first super floats of the original Endymion crew back in 1976. It's a double-decker done up like a steamboat, and he looks like the skipper out there.
He does, and he's getting quite a show, because these crowds have seemed to have gotten a little bit thicker as the sun went down, and when we started out here, we saw maybe 10 deep, and now it's looking 15 to 20 deep. And I can only imagine what the crowds are going to be like once they get closer downtown on Canal Street, where they just get so thick.
And there at SS Papa Joe, it's one of the first floats, so people are very, very excited. We got another float coming by here, Kim. This is a beauty.
This is Riddle of the Sphinx, the mythological tale of the mysterious creature that proposed a perplexing question to travelers on their way out of the city of Thebes. And here come the wow! You can hear them hitting us. You know, what's funny, Rob, is that at this point, our job is to dump the bags and bags that are being thrown at us. You know, most people will just kill to catch bags and bags of beads, but I see them coming and I actually duck out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, the bags weigh a good 4 or 5 pounds. It's like heavier than a packet of ground meat at your grocery store, and it's coming at your head, and you definitely do have to protect yourself. Not that we're complaining.
No.
It's a lot of fun. They're extremely generous.
Yeah, people at home are probably saying, "Oh, poor Kim and Rob."
But we have a no. Please don't feel bad for us. We've got a beautiful vantage point on a beautiful night here. Jeff Davis and Canal, as the Riddle of the Sphinx float goes by, and you see the Pharaoh on the back end of that, and just a gorgeous float with beautiful gold and green colors on it, and probably 80 to 100 riders easy on this particular float, carrying out the Abracadabra magical theme of Endymion's 44th edition, the same number of parades as we've had Super Bowls.
44.
Yeah, so
we were saying earlier, 44. What a great number this year.
It might have to become my lucky number now. It's always been 3, but 44 is really working for me this week, and working for this crowd too. This crowd, of course, kind of used to Super Cruise at this stage after that wonderful parade earlier this week, and certainly a lot of hoodat in the air as the parades go by. Some of the floats have been playing some Saints music. Salmon High School Band was playing the Crunk song, did a great job just before we went on the air. Really got the crowd going here. But you'd think people would be sick of it by now, but I don't think they are.
No, the crowd was going crazy. And this is a parade that not only uses the local bands, they also use a lot of out-of-town bands. And I'm thinking maybe the out-of-town bands aren't playing the Get Crunk song tonight, but that's okay. We've made up for it. Look how close those riders are coming to that red light.
Yeah, this one's
Float
number 7, Labyrinth of the Minotaur. Another magical figure. Some of the float riders are wearing fleur-de-lis, and here they come again, Kim. Throw me something, hey!
Don't entice them.
They can't hear me, it doesn't matter.
All of these floats are just loaded down with riders, and you know, it's interesting to see these guys load up their floats, and they are actually standing on mounds and mounds of beads because there's just not enough room for everything they have to throw.
All right, look what this guy has, Kim. Is that a Drew Brees
Drew
t-shirt?
Brees t-shirt. Let's see if we can snag it. Oh,
He shouldn't taunt the crowd with that. Let's see if he lets it go.
Is he going to let it go? Is he going to throw it? He is.
Yeah, he does let it go. All right, very good.
Well, that's a pretty smart throw.
It is. There's another t-shirt. A little light up something or other. And just another beautiful float. Two-parter, double-decker, 80 to 100 riders.
These guys are so generous. You know, when they do get to the Superdome, and they still, whatever they have left over, they unload it because the last thing they want to do is bring any of these beats home.
First edition of Endymion, I think they barely had just over 100 riders. It's hard to imagine how they've grown.
2,700 now?
Yes, 2,700. A lot from Baton Rouge, 300 or 400 from Baton Rouge.
Really, riders from all over the country fly in for this. As we mentioned, this is the Super Crew of Endymion on its 44th ride through the streets of New Orleans. Right now, we're going to toss it to break as you get a look at the Orphic Egg Float.
Fox 8 formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants. You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
Welcome back. We are live on Canal Street right now.
And Endymion is on the move. She's starting to move pretty good at this point, Cam. There have been a few little lulls, but everybody's walking down Canal Street toward the river, walking up Canal Street, I guess, toward the river at a pretty fast clip right now.
This is the Higgins High School band marching in front of us. We've seen a number of bands go by, and approaching us right now, float number 9. Just a little ways down Canal Street, but we've seen some absolutely beautiful floats go by with the fiber optic lighting. And we were talking about that earlier, Rob. It's so pretty to see this parade at night. When it starts on Orleans Avenue in the daytime, you really don't get the feel for what the beauty of this parade is until the sun goes down and those lights light up the whole city.
It's just an amazing parade. It's got 3 different personalities. It's got a city park personality down on Orleans Avenue with a concert and all the people out there barbecuing, and that of course is in daylight, and of course it's been dark here now for about an hour and a half, and as you said, the fiber optics light up, and it just looks more and more incredible every year. And then of course the third personality when it gets in the Superdome. But Higgins band now started to play for us a little bit, and the bands have really been playing nicely as they come by Jeff Davis here on Canal. We had the Marine Band leading the way a little while ago too. They're playing the Crunk song for us. And
we had the Marching 100, of course, always leading the parade. You always want to see those guys coming through, and as always, they delivered.
And of course, we had Tom Benson, the owner of the world champion Super Bowl winning Saints, come by a little while ago with the trophy. They've been carrying it everywhere, and let's show you what it was like when he passed by our reviewing stand at Jeff Davis Canal about an hour ago.
The crowds look very thick, and for Tom Benson, who you mentioned, once he gets rolling, this is really twice in 1 week almost for him to be just exposed to these huge crowds, and this has got to be just a thrill ride for him tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, coming along, I believe on the second float that we'll see, we have the captain coming first, and then we'll get the Grand Marshal, who is Tom Benson. But in all, 31 floats in this parade, and some of these floats are going to be huge. 200 riders on some of these floats. That I think it's the SS Endymion.
SS Endymion, Papa Joe's Endymion. Those are made up of the Baton Rouge contingent of Endymion. There's about 3 full floats of Baton Rouge people. Some of the lead units from Baton Rouge. Year after year, they come in and enjoy the show. Of course, the theme this year, Abracadabra, all about magic. Magic from Greek legend. And I tell you what, there's been a lot of magic in New Orleans this last week with the Super Bowl and everything, and everybody, I think, will take to this theme like ducks in a pond.
Absolutely. And when they picked this theme, they picked it long before we knew how magical of a season the Saints would have, and just how magical, as you mentioned, the whole city has felt really the past couple of months. So maybe they knew something we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider that Drew Brees was picked to be King of Bacchus several months ago, I mean, they're thrilled to death about that. And then Tom Benson was picked several months ago to be Grand Marshal of this parade too. So I mean, the timing has just worked out perfectly. I mean, when the Saints won the Super Bowl the other night, you heard them repeatedly saying this Mardi Gras will never end. It's going to go for a couple of weeks. Jonathan Vilma's in this parade too tonight, from what we understand. There's a couple of
and also Thomas Morstead, so a few of the Saints players, and here we are getting a look at the very first float, the captain of Endymion, and that of course is Ed Muniz, someone who loves this parade more than life itself, it seems. He just wraps himself up in Endymion and every year delivers a spectacular show.
Got a little rock concert going on in front of this float, Kim. Let's give it a listen. All right, Trav.
All right,
wow, it's on now. The war has
my
begun.
hard hat this year.
Okay.
I think we're going to have some equipment damage. And I'm not just talking about our hands and our heads. I'm thinking, woo!
We're going to need a wheelbarrow for this stuff. That's just one float. Whoa, look out.
I'm holding on to lights here just to make sure that, that we don't lose everything. Wow.
They are extremely generous.
So,
I don't think there's going to be any problem with the generosity of Endymion float riders this year, living up to their reputation once again. Kim, I'm loaded down already. That was just one float.
I'm telling you. And that was the Top Cats on...
playing Jesse's Girl on the front of the captain's float.
All right, so right here we have the Marshfield High School Band. Their purple and white umbrellas.
I'm going to put some goggles on for the next float.
All right. You know what's great about this parade is that they bring in so many local bands, but they also bring in bands from all over the country. And these bands just really love coming to Mardi Gras, and it's amazing every year. They just pack in these parades, these super crews, and you really get a feel for music from around the country. But this is, again, the Marshfield High School Band.
One thing I love about this spot, it looks like all the bands are going to play at this spot. I think this has been a traditional spot in the old days. For Mid-City, they used to review the bands right here at this spot. So it's a traditional spot for bands to play. So far, so good.
All right, so next we have some more flambeaus coming this way. And then just beyond that, our first glimpse of the Grand Marshal's float, the Grand Marshal of Endymion.
I think I see a Super Bowl trophy coming down the street.
Well, is this guy a superstar or what? Tom Benson. Is he doing the Benson boogie?
He's been boogieing for days. I don't think he ever wants to stop, but I think I see him up there with a...
I see a trophy. I see a trophy on the front of the float, and I see a trophy in the hands.
Oh, they got the real thing up there.
Of Tom Benson. Oh, yeah.
And of course, the crowd letting out a huge cheer as they wave the hard-earned Super Bowl trophy. That's Tom Benson himself waving the trophy to the crowd. He doesn't need to throw anything, Kim. Everybody just loves the sight of that so much.
He really doesn't. Yeah, he really is a hero, and he's getting kind of used to all of this attention, I think, over the past couple of weeks, couple of months, and I think he's going to maybe want a parade every week now. He's getting used to this.
It can be a habit for me. And let's hope that winning a Super Bowl will be a habit for me, too. The other night they were talking like they were going to try and make it a habit. We'll see how that goes.
I certainly love that. Let's listen in. I hear a lot of hoodats coming from this float.
You know, Benson's background is as an accountant for a car dealership. I think in a previous life he was much shyer than he is now. Get crunk.
And that is Tom and his wife Gail, beautiful Gail Benson. something special to show us.
Newell Norman, Sheriff of Jefferson Parish on that float.
We got Mickey Loomis
Mickey
on the
Loomis
back.
on the back.
Mike Stanfield in charge of tickets. Throw us some tickets. Throw us some season tickets.
I'd like to upgrade. You know, Mickey Loomis, probably not enough has been said about his achievement this year. I mean, he's hired Sean Payton, the mastermind of the whole success of the Saints.
And he has been all smiles
He
since
has
he stepped off that plane. Well, really before he stepped off the plane back in New Orleans. I think that smile, I think he goes to sleep with that smile at night. I mean, seriously, every time I've seen him, the smile is from ear to ear, and for good reason. But certainly the crowd, very receptive, very happy to see all of those guys and Miss Gail Benson on that float tonight. And I'm sure as the crowds get thicker, as you head more downtown, and what a great way to enter the Superdome tonight, the home of the Saints, with the Lombardi Trophy. Tom Benson rides in. It is going to be amazing in there.
All right, we are under attack once more on Canal Street at Jeff Davis as float number 11 goes by, the Song of the Sirens, dangerous bird women of mythology that lured sailors to their deaths with their enchanting music and voices. I don't know about dangerous bird women,
just
but
dangerous arms.
These are some dangerous float riders just throwing an unbelievable amount of tonnage at us. Are you okay, kid? That might be a chipped tooth right there.
No.
I'm not sure. But these guys are incredibly
if it's a
generous.
chipped tooth, you're on your own. I gotta go.
I don't see any blood. You're still with me. But somebody please get her a football helmet. These guys are just incredibly generous. Float number 11 starting to make some good time here as Endymion makes her way toward Gala Hall.
All right, and we're looking at the little St. Charles streetcar band, kind of tucked in the middle of the parade here, giving us a little music as they make their way down Canal Street.
Those guys look warm in there. They got windows.
They do look warm.
Pretty secure there. One of the few closed units of the 100 units that we're going to see pass by us before this parade is said and done on just a gorgeous night out here on Canal Street in New Orleans as this crowd continues to celebrate the euphoria of the Saints' first Super Bowl appearance and victory, and celebrate the euphoria of a wonderful parade led by the owner of the Saints, Tom Benson.
Yeah, I don't think they're playing Stand Up and Get Crunk.
No, but the Bonneville High Band was a few minutes ago.
Bonneville, your alma mater.
That's right.
You're cheering and clapping for them. They definitely played it as they passed.
It was about the 5th time I think we've heard the Crunk song tonight, and nobody's asking for anything different. I mean, just keep that one coming. It's a surefire hit. All right, you were wondering about the Baba Yaga throw earlier.
Baba Yaga.
This one, this tale is from Slavic folklore. Charms carnival spectators by bringing to life the story of the witch-like character known as the Baba Yaga.
Look at that thing on the front of the float.
She flies around on a numinous broom.
I don't know, Rob. I'm going to have to back up a little bit
for
here.
Kidnapping kids that seek her help. The Baba Yaga resides in a log cabin where they manufacture lots of beads and then bomb people with them as they go down Canal Street.
That's what the Baba Yaga is. Silly us.
Whoa, those are pretty cool. Sort of a multicolored light-up frisbee ring.
Double-decker float in 2 parts here. No fiber optic lighting on this one, but still just another beautiful float.
And, these
one
guys
of
are just
31 floats.
You know, I heard them talking about getting enough footballs for some of the Saints players to throw. Basically saying you can't manufacture enough of them. I think the same thing held true for the beads. I mean, where do they all come from? Hey, I tell you what, I wanted that one. That was a light-up frisbee. This guy is throwing soccer balls at our light, and they're pretty good arms. I think they got a couple of quarterbacks on these massive Endymion floats as they make their way down Canal.
Yeah, well, they rest up all year for this, so.
All right, here comes number
in practice.
13, Magicians. Once again, sticking with the Abracadabra theme of the 44th edition of Endymion here in Mid-City. And it's a big double-decker float, all lit up in green, festooned with the Ace of Spades and the Joker card. Everybody, of course, whenever they play cards, hoping for a little magic. And
I don't think you could really ask for much more magic than we've seen in this city over the past couple of months, definitely the past couple of weeks.
No, Kim, you're exactly right.
And you can feel it in the crowd. I mean, you really can. Crowds are always excited for Mardi Gras, but just everywhere you go, you can feel the magic in the air. And I'm just hoping it doesn't die down.
No, I hope not either. And, this float is going to be sitting here for a while. Looks like we got a little lull in the action. The guys are going to rest their arms for a minute, and we'll take this opportunity to take a break as well. We'll be back in a minute.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
Kim and Rob.
We're back 70 degrees inside the Superdome and rising by body heat. You know, there was so much concern about this Mardi Gras and whether we'd have, the cold air, but it really turned into a great day. It might get a little chilly tonight because we don't have a lot of cloud cover, but I don't know if anybody will notice by the time that's an issue.
Exactly, and if you're on the parade route or the people who are on those floats, this is what they have to look forward to. The food, the drinks, the music, and right now, as you can hear, there's a band pumping up the stage right now. We're going to go now to Chris Franklin and Dawn Brown at Gala Hall.
Well, hi. Welcome back. We're at Gala Hall, and of course we have a special guest right now. Mayor Ray Nagin is toasting Rita Benson LeBlanc, and of course you might notice something special along with Rita Benson. She's carrying.
Okay, I want to know how many Lombardi trophies there are, because Tom Benson already passed by. Yes. He was holding it, and I thought that was the one. Well, now Rita Benson LeBlanc is also holding one.
You didn't notice, Chris. I was following the Lombardi Trophy really closely.
Okay.
They very carefully handed it. They took it from Tom, and they very carefully handed it down, and then I think they took it back and gave it to Rita. I'm telling you, that's the same one.
That's the same one. So there was just one making the rounds to all of the different floats.
They brought it back to Rita Benson LeBlanc, and of course they right now, of course, their toast Mayor Nagin is toasting. Let's go ahead and.
This almost has the feeling of the parade we just had on Tuesday, because we saw Tom Benson, Rita Benson LeBlanc all being toasted in front of Gala Hall. It had the feel of Mardi Gras parade anyway.
Let's listen in for 1 second to Rita Benson LeBlanc.
Every minute of it. We're showing the trophy, sharing it with all of you every moment that we can. From CNN to all over the world, everybody can see this parade, our parade last week. Thank you to all the fans. There is no place like New Orleans. There's no better place to visit, work, love, and live. And we are so proud to be a part of you. Thank you for this, because we couldn't have done it without you.
All right, and the party is getting started here once again at Gala Hall. Of course, everybody went crazy when Tom Benson came by with his wife Gail. And now, of course, you might notice also
it's a repeat. They're going insane for his granddaughter.
Yes, exactly. And there's Garrett Hartley giving Rita Benson LeBlanc. Of course, Garrett Hartley has now the three consecutive, field goals.
Right, over 40 yards, a first ever in a Super Bowl. So,
and then
for a young guy, and there he goes. He's now perhaps the trophy. He may not want to let that go.
I don't know.
I'm sure all the players have at least gotten a chance to touch it, but now that he's holding it,
and then
he may not let it go.
Also on this float, you'll notice Jonathan Vilma, and then I'm looking for Thomas Morstead. He's also supposed to be on the float, and of course that is
he may have decided to go in another.
He did the sneak onside kick, of course, during the Super Bowl championship. Whoops, Chris, you got to hold on to me here. Woo!
I thought we were going to lose you.
It's a little bit too much of a party out here on Gala Hall.
What have you been drinking?
We've had, of course, the parade just got started, and we've already had Tom Benson go by, and people are just going crazy out here. You know what I noticed, Chris?
What?
It is 44 degrees.
Right.
We've got our hats, scarves.
We're all decked out. Gloves, we've got it all. We're ready.
I've got my long johns on. But look at the crowd. It is crazy.
And I'll tell you this, Dawn, I was out here last year in front of Gala Hall, and it does look like it's a bigger crowd, and it's a lot colder than it was last year. So obviously the weather did not stop anyone from wanting to come out here and enjoy the parade. I mean, all along the route, obviously, but it's a little different being in front of Gala Hall. You have the mayor and a lot of city council members and other local politicians making announcements, and it's nonstop music. We have a DJ that's playing music, and when the bands come up, they stop, or the DJ stops, the bands play. As soon as the bands are gone, the DJ starts up again, so it's non-stop out in front of Gala Hall.
It's just a huge party out here, and of course we saw two maids pass by, Miss Elizabeth Alton Nauman, representing Voodoo, and Miss Stephanie Ann Coleman. And of course we're looking forward to another band coming down the route. And just as Chris was saying, it's just a huge party. It's hard to get cold out here because there are so many people, and it's such a huge party, you just dance the entire time.
And you stay warm like that. Pretty soon we're going to have to take off our coats. We're going to be dancing so much, we're going to be hot and need to strip down.
Well, exactly, especially once the parade gets in full swing, especially because we've got a lot of floats, and I'm excited about the throws. Do you know they have 350,000 Tom Benson cups of Tom Benson doing the Benson Boogie?
Did you catch one?
No, I was
unbelievable,
yelling, saying, "Go me!"
But he didn't see. Well, no. he was being toasted. There's a lot of people. He's holding the trophy.
Yeah, I don't know if he noticed me. I was jumping.
Now I did see Tom Benson had about 3 different umbrellas that he used to do the boogie, and it was one for every occasion. There was a purple, green, and gold one. Yes. Then he also had one that said Super Bowl 44. So he has one for every occasion.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to catch. There's anybody can catch that cup. 350,000 Benson cups.
So here's a lot. Here's a lot.
With him doing the Tom Benson Boogie. But especially the other special throws they have. I think the Endymion has this penguin.
Yes, the penguin, and we heard about that on our morning newscast.
Right.
That they have the penguin. The penguin at the aquarium is named Endymion because it was born last year on Endymion, and so they have a special kind of bond with the aquarium that they donate proceeds to the Endymion crew donates proceeds to the aquarium for their funding.
And now we have another marching band coming by. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the McDonough 35 Senior High School Band. Oh wait, no. Let's hold on. I got to turn the page.
We have a list of all of the bands, all of the floats, and Dawn is busy trying to figure out which one that we are. John McDonough 35. You were right, Dawn.
All right.
You were absolutely right.
I thought it looked
How could you question yourself?
I thought it looked like the colors of McDonough High School Band. Of course, we had a band from Wisconsin earlier.
Right, but they're used to the cold. They were in shorts. They were wearing shorts, folks. The band from Wisconsin.
The Marshfield High School Band. They were wearing
44 degrees. They said it was sweltering.
But there's a lot of throws this year that are sort of that you can only the penguin throw, and then we have the Benson Cup. I'm looking and they have a lot of the lighted throws. That's what I want to catch. The ones that
you're a big fan of the lighted.
I do.
So the ones that require batteries and maintenance. That's what you want. Dawn Brown is high maintenance. Folks, you have absolutely no idea how high maintenance
that she is. That is so not true.
Even her beads are high maintenance.
All right. We are looking forward to some more maids coming by, and I'm going to go ahead and we have Miss Allegra Victoria Grieve and Miss Helena. Sorry, just a second. Elisa Wild Killian. Allegra hails from the beautiful Lakeview area of New Orleans and is the daughter of Dr. Michael Grieve and Dr. Joy Esther. I'm going to go ahead and stand out of the view so folks can go ahead and see the maids passing by. They have such gorgeous costumes. And this Miss Allegra is the daughter of Dr. Michael Grieve and Miss Dr. Joy Esther Cohen. She is a sophomore at Tulane University. She's an honor student. And they're getting everybody fired up as the maids pass by.
So like I said, as soon as one of the bands passes by, DJ starts playing music. They'll stop when the bands come by, and then when they pass, the DJ starts up again. And that's what's been great out here is just it's been nonstop music.
Oh, I know. It's just we're having just an absolute blast out here. Now, the second maid that we're seeing is Miss Helena Elisa Wild Helen.
She's the maid in pink.
Helen is the daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Charles Killian of New Orleans and is a freshman at Mississippi College majoring in nursing, a graduate of Ursuline Academy.
All right, well, Dawn, we're going to keep it, guys, we're going to keep it going out here. The parade is really just getting started out at Gala Hall, so we have a lot more to go. We're going to toss it back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Dawn and Chris. You know, that's pretty sad when the man owns us. That's my way of disclosure tonight. Tom Benson is also the owner of Horizon Entertainment and Fox 8. He owns us, and nobody out there can get a piece of plastic. He's got 350,000 cups, and to my knowledge, no one's caught one yet.
But you know what? The Bensons, the football players, they've all turned into rock stars. Did you see them? They were like... It was very cool to see him holding up that trophy.
And there was, at one point, Mrs. Benson pointed out the camera to Tom Benson, and he kind of acknowledged it, and I didn't think he was going to play too much, and then he reached back and grabbed the Lombardi Trophy, made sure that he could share it with as many people as possible. And I noticed that with the coach the other night, and with the players in general. They're just, they want to show off the thing, which is understandable, because if I had one, I'd want to show it off. But there just seems to be so much of it's truly genuine, this sense of sharing with everybody, as many people as possible, and there are so much of this evening harkens back to that great night on Tuesday night. Let's listen into the band for just a moment.
I tell you what, 15,000 people possibly will be on this floor tonight, and there are thousands already here jamming to this band and waiting for this parade to come in. And, this has become really one of the highlights of Mardi Gras, to think that floats roll inside a building and you dance around the floats. It sounds awesome.
It is a great thing about Endymion, because you have the Mardi Gras, you have the neighborhood. Mid-City kind of owns this parade in the sense of some of the people there out along Orleans Avenue. You have that dimension to it. Then you have the bigness of it on Canal Street and Gala Hall and the festivities. And then inside, it's a concert.
It is a wonderful concert, and I tell you what, we will be here all night until it ends. We'll be back in just a moment with much more of Endymion 2010.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
It's the party with a split personality in the Louisiana Superdome, parade and extravaganza, which, forget the fact the parade's not here, it's well underway.
Jennifer Van Branken and Nakondra Norwood on the floor amongst the revelers.
That's right, you've been seeing a little bit of the party from above, and we're right down here in it, passing by, getting set up.
It's been wonderful. The band that you've been listening to, Big Swing of the Band, they have been amazing. So they've really gotten the crowd into it. We've been right here on the floor in the path where people are walking in. And it's very funny because only in New Orleans do you see people in full-length ball gowns hauling ice chests behind them, and everything else.
Unbelievable, the football jerseys, helmets. Can't wait to show you a lot of these outfits, folks. It's, the Saints magic going on through here, and I think we've been talking about that a lot tonight. It's definitely showing up in the crowd as everybody comes by, and, really just get that party feeling started and continuing through the week here.
It's been amazing. The band has already played When the Saints Go Marching In. Definitely everybody is still just continuing, I think, the Super Bowl win, enjoying that, making it part of Mardi Gras as we did last week, and I don't know when that'll end. We're all enjoying it so much.
Yeah, it just all seems so apropos, how everything's working out together, I think, really makes this that long-term celebration. Get the 44th parade, and you're definitely seeing that.
The year that the Saints started, Endymion started, so obviously, you know, there's a connection this year particularly, and then with Tom Benson as Grand Marshal. So we're going to be down here on the floor. The parade will pass right here. The band is off this way, and we're going to be introducing you all night long to a lot of the people who are here enjoying the Endymion festivities. Some people who have been in the crew since the beginning, others who have joined more recently, but all who absolutely look forward to this night every year.
And you know, I haven't had the opportunity to actually cover this. I've attended the ball before, but working it as a journalist is going to be a lot more interesting, I think. Running around with the microphones, you get different looks.
We're going to bring you somebody who had a really good idea on a wardrobe accessory for this year. So we'll leave it at that, and then we'll bring that to you later tonight. Definitely something unique to this year, though.
It does look like we are going to continue to see a lot of these different accessories coming through as we come here through the evening. And we have a lot going on out here tonight, so we're going to get you another view with Sean and Natasha.
Hi guys, you know, we're right here in the thick of things. People have been dancing for the last hour or so, still coming here into the dome. But the thing about the extravaganza is the party starts long before the parade rolls through the Superdome.
Mardi Gras Indians let about 1,000 or so people come in, and since we've been standing here for the last hour or so, it has gotten incredibly packed down here, and let's be honest, most cases the party is just beginning in New Orleans once Mardi Gras gets there, but given what has happened in this city the last few weeks, the party is just sort of continuing. From the Super Bowl to now this, it's just another round of fun in New Orleans.
That's right, and you know, we've seen probably 13,000 or 15,000 hoodads here tonight, and the band has been playing the same songs for us the last few songs, and that's when the crowd really got thick. Plus, we've been seeing those rolls already, the fleur-de-lis around their necks. And
It's definitely the same theme, and you know, we've mentioned it all night. 1967 turns out was a pretty good year for New Orleans. Endymion began, and the Saints started. It was their first season. So now 44 years later, it's a celebration, a culmination of all that hard work, and wow, what a scene out here right now. It's been a great year for New Orleans.
it really has, and you know, like you said, the party is just getting started, and it's thick in here already, but people are still coming in here to the Superdome. The band has been going, and I'm sure they're going to go until the floats come in. And of course, we're going to have those mega floats come in too, and the St. Aug band, which everyone waits for. I'm sure the riders know what's going to happen when they come in here. They know this is the highlight of their ride.
It really is. You know, you think Mardi Gras, you think Endymion. You think Endymion, you think the extravaganza, and you know, just the crowds have just got huge since we've been out here. And with all the good karma, the good things that are happening right now in the city of New Orleans, and like I said before, it just sort of seems like the party has just sort of continued. It hasn't stopped and started. It just sort of continued there in New Orleans.
I don't think the party has stopped since the Saints won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. It's been a while. It's been a fun period, and we're just getting started out here right now.
Exactly. John and Nancy, back to you.
Okay, thanks, guys. I tell you what, as long as we've got a concert here, why don't we listen into it for a while?
Love it.
Well, apparently we are unprepared to do that, I have deduced.
We are. Apparently, we can take a look at a live picture of the parade route, which is still going strong right now, I believe. But, you know, so many people are out on Canal, on all these streets in Mid-City trying to get a glimpse of these great floats, which this year, Abracadabra, is such another one of those really cerebral sort of themes. But
It's cerebral but surreal.
Exactly.
With everything about the Saints, and you know, we talked about that the other day. The Saints players, many of whom are rookies, you know, sophomore, juniors, third-year players, guys who, a lot of them are very much involved in the community, but a lot of these guys take off at the end of the season. So in other words, they're gone when Mardi Gras happens. Really don't have a big connection to Mardi Gras. Can you imagine experiencing the Saints parade for the very first time, which had sort of an obvious Mardi Gras feel to it, and then on top of that, take those, take that turn onto Canal Street with that sea of people, because you think, wow, this is a really big deal, and there are toast and bands and Gallagher and all the rest. And then you turn onto Canal Street and see people 30 or 40 deep. Incredible.
And you're like, I'm not in Kansas anymore. Well, this and then
I'm not at Penn State anymore.
And you know what? This is an unbelievable scene that they're going to see when they roll into this Superdome. I mean, this is going to be just incredible. Look at those crowds out there tonight. They are just amazing.
St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans on what is for many years, this actually is the big night. This and tomorrow night, as we look at this view of the Intercontinental Hotel, there's been a phenomenon that has developed over the years, as we always think of Mardi Gras Day or Carnival Day, whatever you want to call it, as the culmination. There actually are people who come in with reservations for the weekend, but unfortunately the rest of the world has to work on a Tuesday. So hoteliers, about 10 or 15 years ago, started noticing that, gee, people come and spend the weekend, and maybe Sunday or even Monday they take off, a lot of them. So there are actually, there are a couple. We have shifts of tourists now that hit us here.
Well, a lot of people say that these aren't your grandfather's saints. Well, this isn't your grandfather's Mardi Gras. It wasn't until the 70s that these huge super crews started popping up, and Endymion, Bacchus, and they do it like no other. And it's worth coming in just for that, to see these amazing parades, because the Rexes and the Zulus, they're more traditional. You don't have the fiber optic lighting, you don't have throw till it hurts. This is quite a sight to see. And you know what? We're going to take a break and bring you a lot more of this Endymion 2010 in just a moment. You stay right there.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
The quaint little neighborhood crew of Endymion, which in 1966, when it was formed, actually did not have enough people to parade, had to wait another year, and finally got 165 people by the time they paraded. And look at it today. It is in many ways Mardi Gras' main event, that enormous sea of people on St. Charles Avenue as they come close to approaching Gala Hall from the Intercontinental.
And when they get to Gala Hall, I mean, that is one of the hot spots of the parade route, because they can actually hear music, do toast, and actually talk to people on the stands. It's quite an exciting feeling. And as you said, John, when this small parade started so many years ago, it even started at the wrong corner. The corner that it started at was the wrong one, and they were going, hey, how come nobody's showing up?
Well, it was the right corner, but it was the wrong one. The newspaper apparently had printed the wrong one, so they were in a panic. They thought, oh my gosh, nobody is here. They got a half a dozen people or whatever it was out there. And apparently, was it a police officer that came by and said, no, down the street, they're waiting on you?
He rerouted them to the right corner, and at say, and you know what? Now they don't have to worry about people showing up. This is one of the premier crews of Mardi Gras. Look at those crowds on St. Charles Avenue right now.
I just love the enthusiasm of the people. This whole week has just spread into one mass Lombardi Mardi Gras.
It really has. I mean, this New Orleans Saints fever is not dying down at all. Even the bands are saying, who dat? As far as the eye can see on St. Charles, and look, it's getting closer and closer to Gala Hall.
Well, over camera, one of our producers actually tried to do a head count, and it just gave up. It was too difficult. And, we saw crowds, I would say maybe 15, 20 deep the other day during the Saints Parade. There was, I don't know whether it was 200,000 or 800,000, who cares? It was a mass of people out there, and there was some thought that maybe 40 or so deep in places on Canal Street. I haven't heard anything about the crowds tonight, but clearly people taking advantage after the cold conditions of the last couple of nights, and in some cases some rain issues, and this is certainly not a balmy night in New Orleans, but it hasn't been unpleasant. Maybe dry air, or we'll have to go to the meteorologists, I guess, for the explanation. But I don't find it to be all that bad, even though the temperature says 44 or so.
And when you think about Mardi Gras Day, it's going to have to live up to these days that we've already had. I mean, we always think the thickest crowds are on Mardi Gras Day, but these parades that we've had, because of this momentum of the Saints and the good feeling in the air with everyone, these crowds may eclipse Mardi Gras Day. Maybe absolutely not, but
no. What always amazes me, I mean, everybody knows people who are involved in here tonight. Maybe they're riding a couple of crews. I know somebody who rides in Bacchus and rides in Rex, which, I mean, I need a day to recover. I've only one time attempted to do both of these celebrations back to back, the Endymion extravaganza, and then went to the Bacchus ball the next night, and it wears you out. And I was a young man when I attempted that. It's just, but you get into that. People just wait till Wednesday to relax. Wait till Wednesday to recover.
You can see now the grandstands are just full of people waving and cheering and just excited about what they're seeing tonight. I think this is every year I say that this is one of the prettiest Endymion parades I've seen. But they just keep getting better and better. Well,
Endymion kind of goes back and forth between themes that are sort of mythological and as you point out, kind of cerebral. And this was sort of a cerebral but fun theme, everything from Merlin to, I think there's a Chinese mythology of yin-yang as opposed to yin-yang.
Right, the yin-yang twins.
The yin-yang twins. So I don't think they're playing Get Crunk from the Chinese mythology float. But this was one of those years when Ed Munez and the officers decided, let's go a little cerebral. Sometimes they'll do something a little more fun, like a salute to Disney or a cartoon theme. And I think they try to mix it up. And then, as it turns out, this whole magical theme, everything is magical in New Orleans.
I mean, the Saints have really worked their magic on the whole city of New Orleans.
All right, well, let's go to Jennifer Hale downstairs.
Well, guys, the Dome is certainly filling up as the Endymion extravaganza kicks off in full force. Folks are steadily trickling in. These are the early comers, the one who wanted to be here for every band that's going to play. Among them, Mr. Eric Person from New Orleans. What time did you guys get here and how come so early?
An hour and a half ago, just beat the traffic.
Traffic was the big thing.
Right, we're staying at a hotel downtown. You go about 3 miles out of the way, come back around Claiborne, and you can get in. So,
a lot of effort. Is it worth it?
Absolutely. It's wonderful. Wonderful.
Is this one of your favorite parties of the year?
Endymion, Bacchus, Orpheus, I like all three of them very much. So.
Do you go to all three?
Most of the time, yes.
How do you do it 3 nights in a row?
Well, it's 4 because Zulu's the night before, so.
You're a warrior.
I am.
So come Fat Tuesday, you're just going to pass out.
No, Fat Tuesday is Rex. I just watch the street, and then I watch the meeting of the courts on television. So.
Now you are a Super Saints fan. I noticed your hat. I noticed your tie. You have a special claim to fame, right?
Well, I think a lot of people claim it, but I wasn't the first Saints game. I rode 2 in the brick south end zone at Tulane Stadium, and John Gilliam got bigger and bigger and bigger, and he came right in front of us, and so I was there was hooked from the beginning.
So when he returned that kickoff, what was going through your head?
We might win the game, but we did. We lost 24-7, but we were there, so it was fun. It was fun.
So a lot of the Saints players going to be in the parade tonight, including Tom Benson. What does it mean to you to have this team finally win a Super Bowl?
Well, the Super Bowl means something really not for the team so much for the city of New Orleans, because it means, whether it should or not, it means hope, and it brought a lot of joy to people, and it brought black and white people together, and it really made the city a place where everyone felt welcome and comfortable, and I hope that'll keep going on, and we can make our city revive and come back and be the city we always wanted it to be, and the way it was in the 1800s. Let's make it that way. Let's be the city of the 2000s. So.
Mr. Eric Person, thank you so much for your time. Have a great time this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, as you can tell, folks are in a great mood. That celebration that we saw with the Saints is just continuing on. And as you heard Mr. Person. He intends to celebrate tonight, tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday, like a lot of folks here. So I have a feeling this party's going to get really good, really fast. Guys, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer Hale.
And I think our float is moving again. You know, we have a live camera on the Papa Joe SS Endymion, and it is rolling down St. Charles Avenue. There it is. That's our live camera. And you know, the Papa Joe SS Endymion is a float that Endymion introduced in 1976. It's the one that's the replica of the steamboat. Papa Joe Muniz, in his memory, this float was built. The father of Ed Muniz, and also the father of Ed Muniz's wife.
You know, when you see a TV camera, normally you'll get a reaction from people. So you look at this and you say, okay, they're just reacting to the TV camera. No, they're reacting to the float coming by with the throws.
And that's sort of what you would feel like if you were on the float.
And that is, by the way, the Poydras intersection as it approaches Gallagher Hall. So people at Poydras, one of the great spots to view a parade, although not always the easiest place we learned the other night to get out of, as people were there, you know, till midnight trying to get out of the Saints parade.
Yeah, they should have brought their camping equipment for tonight. But you can tell, you know, there's not much headgear. There's a little headgear. But people don't seem like they're freezing cold tonight, so that's a good thing.
You know, some of these people in mid-city stay there for a couple of days, camp out. We always look at it like, are you kidding me, really? But they're just that devoted to get that front row seat if they don't have a balcony, for example. That's always nice to have one of those. And, you know, you think, well, what are you going to do when it passes? And you pick up the pieces and you go to the next one, and then you go to the next one.
You know, I think we're getting really close to the spot we've been waiting for to Gallagher Hall as we look at these pictures and see people waving at our camera. It's almost on cue.
You know, there had been a crew that paraded before Endymion, and it canceled, and the crew folded, and that was part of the inspiration that Ed Muniz had for Endymion, was he just thought it was kind of odd to have a Saturday night before Mardi Gras without a parade in the city. So he, you know, got together 165 of his closest friends and managed to come up with this. And over the period of years, when you think about Endymion and Bacchus and Orpheus and the role they have played in stretching out this celebration and growing it for its importance.
Let's look at Don and Chris waving from Gallagher Hall. Hey guys, what do you see?
And of course, we see photographer Donnie on the...
We get so excited. We see one of our own photographer, Donnie Pierce, is actually up on top of the Papa Joe's
I'm
SS
trying to get him to
Endymion.
throw me something.
Oh, is that what you were waiting for?
Yes, I was like,
I thought you were excited to see him. Well, there's Donnie. If you can see him, Jim, if we can zoom in up top, we have a live presence up on the float, which is... I got to do it one year. Actually, I got to do it a couple of years, and it is an unbelievable experience to get to ride up on the float like that. We have Donnie.
Throw me something, mister! Throw me something, mister!
There is Donnie, and he's shooting guys. Well, no, he's busy working. One of our engineers, Louis Poche, is up there as well to make sure that we get that live signal working as the entire float moves throughout the route, which is a really cool vantage point, because most people do not get to ride up on a float like that, and it's an experience to get to see what it's like for these riders.
I hope he comes back with a lot of good beads.
I don't think he will. I think he's so busy right now, he doesn't have time to really enjoy it. I think he's having a good time now. It looks like it.
That was the Papa Joe Endymion was commissioned in 1976, and it was the largest float at the time.
You know, it says on the outside of the float, commission 1976. Are you just reading the outside of it now?
No, I'm reading our script.
Your book. You've got your book there.
It says this gusty steamboat has charmed millions of Endymion parade goers.
Wow, it has.
Yes.
The millions that are out here right now, and the millions for years to come. And that's always a neat shot, though.
You know what? We didn't say it. We didn't talk about the fact that one of the biggest things in the Endymion float, of course, is the fiber optic display, and the smokestack of Papa Joe had a fiber optic display. Of course, now we are looking at another one of the marching bands. This is a local marching band.
You missed their banner.
This is Xavier.
Oh wait. Xavier Prep, the mayor helped us out there.
Yes, thank
Xavier
you.
Prep.
Thank you, Mayor Nagin. Xavier Prep High School, of course, is now coming by in the marching band. And I knew this was a local band because they're tough.
And they're better?
No, because they're just toughing it out in the cold weather, and also you get that good music coming by with the New Orleans band.
Absolutely.
You can just tell from the groove that it's a local band.
So you go based solely on groove, is what you're telling me.
I go based solely on whether we can groove it out here.
Can you groove to this? I think they're just getting started. I mean, you realize by the time they get to Gala Hall, they've marched for quite a while, so this is pretty far along in the route.
I'm sorry, Chris, but I have to say, based on my thing of what can you groove, look at the band.
That's true.
Is it from New Orleans? Can you groove to it? I'm sorry, they're grooving.
Oh, well, that's clear. I mean, they're grooving in the streets. The crowd is grooving. Mayor Nagin is grooving. Mayor Nagin's been grooving all night.
He's having a blast.
I think he likes his. This is probably the one time he really enjoys being mayor.
Yeah, I mean, he's just having fun. Of course, he's been announcing here at Gala Hall. He's announcing the crew as they go by Endymion, and I mean, he's just having. Of course, he's been toasting.
He got
Tom
to toast
Benson.
Everyone, exactly, and now he gets to enjoy all the bands and.
And then in between, of course, I heard John Snell and Nancy Parker talking about the weather and how they feel that it's more comfortable tonight. And we have to say that the one difference between tonight and the last few nights is the wind.
Yes, the winds is really what made it feel cold, especially when you get in between these buildings. Sorry, folks, we have to go into nerd mode for just a second.
Right.
But yeah, without the wind, it actually isn't that bad. And once you start moving around and huddled around a lot of people, it's not all that bad.
No, exactly. And the winds die down a little bit. The high pressure system's sitting right over us, and so when the high pressure sits right over us, it calms everything down. And it's going to be a chilly night, though, as far as temperatures.
Yeah, it is going to be cold tonight, but as the parade kind of wraps up and people start headed home later on tonight, that's really when the temperatures will start to plummet later on, and we will probably get to around freezing.
But it's interesting how people actually feel that it's warmer just because of the winds.
Maybe we could get the flambeaus that are passing by right now to torch something and heat things up a little bit for us. I actually did see one of the guys in the crowd called one of the flambeaus over to him so he could warm his hands on the fire. So that's using your head.
All right, of course, now we're looking at another float number 2, and this is of course, float number 2. It welcomes us to
it's just getting started. We've already seen all the captain's floats, the maids, and now the other than the Papa SS, Papa Endymion, the real floats have now started. There's that fiber optics we were telling you about.
Yeah.
We're going to toss it back out to Rob and Kim, who are on the parade ride at Jeff Davis and Canal.
Me something, mister!
Yeah, well,
what a parade.
The parade is ending here at Canal and South Jeff Davis. Float number 24 right behind us here. The very last float in this parade. So it has been a great view. It has been a great night. The crowds have been awesome. And definitely people got a wonderful show.
We need a pickup truck. We have caught so much stuff here. It has been unbelievable. Crowds 20 deep. Everybody screaming "Who Dat?" Heard the Crunk song more times than I could count anymore. They have been extremely generous, but it's truly been a magical crew out here at Jeff Davis Canal. Beautiful place to catch the parade.
And you know what I've realized is that not only are they throwing just bags and bags of beads, but the big throw of the night, whoa, we got confetti. The big throw of the night has been footballs.
Footballs, lots of footballs.
So many little footballs, little black and gold and fleur-de-lis footballs, so that is something to look out for.
Light up swords, all kinds of fluorescent light up things. A lot of Saints beads, Kim. A lot of black and gold footballs too. Keeping with the theme of one of the best weeks in our lives, and Benson leading the way, setting the tone for this Who Dat Parade part 20, I guess at this point. The Super Bowl trophy making another wonderful victory lap by here. About 2 hours ago now, I guess, but. What an incredible parade it has been, and we've just loved bringing it to you, and the fans here have just thoroughly enjoyed everything that Endymion has to offer.
It has been a great night here along Canal Street, and
much more of this amazing Endymion parade to come. Of course, we will continue to bring you coverage throughout the night as the parade makes its way to the home of the Saints, the Superdome, where a huge extravaganza is taking place as we've seen the setup always pretty amazing there. But that's it from Canal Street as 34 wraps things up. Right now, we're going to toss it back to Chris and Dawn. Actually, we're going to toss it back to the Superdome where John and Nancy are standing by.
All right, guys, see you.
All right.
Well, I can understand the confusion. I mean, we're not out there, but it just sounded like a roar. Like people are so pent up to get. They know this is the last chance to really catch them.
It is really loud, and as they see the last unit of that 100-unit parade, you know what that means? It's headed our way, and the party has just begun. You guys, it's going to be a great night. Stay with us. We'll be back with much more in just a moment.
Fox 8 formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants. You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
So often during the Saints season, we said, boy, you need a decibel meter. I should have brought one tonight because it is loud up here, and I can't imagine what it's like on the floor.
Let's find out from Jennifer Van Branken just how crazy it is.
It is absolutely amazing, and as we said, there's definitely a Saints theme. Check out these two outfits. I love this. How did you decide to wear Saints helmets?
Well, we wore them for the Super Bowl, and look, it worked. So we figured, hey, let's wear them again.
Have you ever worn a football helmet with an evening gown?
No, but I've never worn flip-flops either, so I'm all good.
Now, you said that this helmet is actually going to help later tonight, right?
Oh, absolutely.
When the bees start flying.
It's definitely going to help out a little bit when the bees come flying.
Where did you get these helmets?
My dad's had them for years. I think they were from Tulane Stadium way, way long ago, yeah.
And, I mean, are you still on a high from the Super Bowl?
Oh, God, yeah. It's going to go on for a long time.
Who dat? Who dat? Woo! Now, we actually saw a woman, and she wouldn't come on TV. We're hoping to convince her to come on later. She had a dress made in Texas that had Drew Brees. It had the number 9. I mean, it's a full evening gown made out of parts of a jersey. So it's unbelievable, the Saints spirit that's going on here tonight. And those helmets, I think we're going to be very envious because when those bees start flying, it's going to be unbelievable. Right now, we're going to go back out to the route.
Say gonna play better music than Endymion.
All right, our live float camera, as you see a picture there from Lee Circle on St. Charles Avenue, the Endymion Parade and Extravaganza. This parade with about 3 or 4 personalities, depending upon the time of day and the location.
Yeah, you can see the people are at least 20 deep around this circle, one of the great viewing areas in the city as it makes its round.
One of those strategic spots where it's the crew of let's get to the interstate as fast as we can.
That's a smart move.
Because sometimes the best parking spot is the absolute worst one.
It really is. You know, the crowd out there is probably just half as excited as the crowd in here. I mean, these folks are crazy. As we see beads fly out on this parade route, they're going to be flying double once they get into this dome.
Throw until it hurts.
In the 70-degree temperatures.
Well, you know, that's what happens to these guys is they are legendary for loading up on, massive amounts of beads. In fact, Blaine Kern has commented over the years about one of the challenges that exist in terms of getting Mardi Gras to go off is that the chassis have had to be improved so much over the years, and for some of the older floats, for the older crews, it's a real issue because they want to be genuine and use, in some cases, the wooden wheels and whatnot, and these guys are bringing more and more, so you now measure what's on there by the ton, not just the riders, but, anybody who's ridden in even Zulu, for example. I rode in that a couple of times, and just getting onto the thing is a challenge. So what happens to so many of these guys is that, they'll have that special throw, that special bag for the dome, and then you have to time it out. You have to strategically make sure, A, you got enough, or worse yet, oh no, how am I ever going to throw all this?
And really, Endymion has some of the most beautiful throws in Carnival, not always traditional, as Don Brown pointed out, a lot of them are lighted throws. There are a lot of the throws we're going to show you a little bit later in the program. They have one coveted throw that's a penguin that they couldn't even give us one to show you. So that one is going to be sought after. Maybe we can...
Right, we have a picture of it. I think we showed for a couple of frames there earlier, a quick little tease picture of it. But as you point out, they are so coveted that we said, hey, normally they'll give us something and say, oh, here's what they're throwing. No, this thing, they're in such short supply that they said that you're sorry, we can't loan you one.
Let's go to Natasha Robin and Sean Fazan down on the floor in the dome.
Hey guys, well, something is happening down here because they're clearing the lanes and they have all the folks moving out, so it's an indication that the floats may be coming through here pretty soon.
And I got to be honest, I've never been on the field of a Saints game. When the crowd is into it, I got a good idea of what it feels like. It is absolutely booming down here. It's almost deafening right now. We have to welcome in. We have welcome in, Jim.
Hi there, sir. We talked earlier about the fleur-de-lis bead that I love. I don't know if we're going to get any from the floats tonight, but we found one. And where did you get it from?
Actually, this was a gift. When I got here, a beautiful lady came up and said, "Who dat?" and gave it to me.
We've been hearing a lot of who dat tonight. Now, this is your first time here to Endymion, right?
Yeah.
What are you expecting tonight?
Well, we come to New Orleans all the time, but where would you be on this Saturday but New Orleans? And with the football Saints this year, it's the greatest night of the year in New Orleans.
What is the biggest difference so far? You said you've come to the parade for many years. What is the biggest difference between being outside and inside right now?
Well, the excitement in here, the atmosphere is unbelievable. And this year, everything's better in New Orleans, and so I'm from Mississippi, but we love New Orleans, and everybody's better and everything's better. So this is a great place to be tonight.
How many Mardi Gras would you say you've been to?
Oh, gosh. More than I want to admit. A lot, many years.
Sounds like you've had some good times down here in New Orleans.
I've had great times down here over the years, yeah. So it's a terrific place to be tonight, especially.
Yeah, and we're hearing the Whodats break out right now.
Yeah.
So we know that the Saints are a big part of the Endymion extravaganza tonight. We're going to let you get out of the lane here and enjoy your night.
Thank you. Hey, enjoy that first Endymion extravaganza. It's special for you.
And there's also, besides the parade and the band and the party, people have tables set up. We're looking at some of the tables here. And what's interesting is they've already covered it because they know when those floats come rolling through here, what's going to happen when all the beads and the throws come onto this table. Tell me about what you guys have done here to cover things up.
Well, we came with that one important necessity. You need a tarp. The blue tarps from Katrina, they came in handy this year. As you can see, people are covering their tables with them. We improvise and use trash cans.
And tell me, you said this is your first time.
This is my first time
at Endymion.
Correct.
What have you heard about what will happen here in the Superdome?
Oh, it's outstanding. You got 4 or 5 live bands. You got Leonard Skinner tonight playing. An excellent musical night. Everybody from the best dressed to the simple person in New Orleans comes and has a good time. And then whoever this person is playing with my ear.
Okay, well, have a good time tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, and Sean, like you said, the party's just getting started.
It really is. We've got plenty of time. They've cleared the area, as we said, to make room for the floats that should be coming in any minute now, and it's going to be crazy in here once that happens.
I have a feeling we're going to have to be covering up here. They already have tarps on the table. John and Nancy, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Sean and Natasha. As the parade makes its way around Lee Circle and heads toward the Superdome, we'll continue our live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza 2010 in a moment.
watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
Part parade, part concert inside the Superdome. Let's listen in.
The big swing and the ballroom blasters. They put a big band twist on songs people hear every day. They are terrific.
One more time, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Endymion.
Well, you know, you turn around, Nancy. We get here about 5 o'clock. It's, you know, there's some security around, empty tables, last minute preparations. Then they start to, you know, outside people are lining up, and you kind of notice, oh, they're letting people in, and then you turn around.
And then it's full.
And you realize that, okay, there are just 13,000 people here. It's a tiny fraction of the evening.
And everyone has his own table. They make it a yearly party every year for people to come and celebrate here with Ed Munez's crew that he started out, like we said, back in the 60s, a neighborhood parade, and it has turned into this behemoth of a thing now. It's just grown and grown and grown.
And people just, you know, excited, and just a lot of family members, a lot of people who are, you know, this is the big event in Mardi Gras for them.
Well, I tell you what, they have also Party on the Moon is another band that they have
And by the way,
coming up.
we'll head downstairs because the Marines have arrived.
Uh-oh.
That's always, you know, so majestic and awe-inspiring. Although I will say this, the Navy band the other night played Get Crunk.
Very unexpected.
We'll have the national anthem coming up as the parade makes its way.
Get crunk.
So I don't think they'll go from that to Get Crunk. But you never know in this day and age.
No, you don't. The official first, I don't know if I'd call them unit, but the first part of the parade.
The first evidence that there's a parade,
Exactly.
and we'll try to listen in downstairs. All right, we can confirm it was not Get Crunk. Though I suspect we'll hear it during the course of the evening.
I can't wait.
At some point.
The whole crowd's going to erupt.
Quite an eruption from the crowd. People enthusiastic. That kicks it off. And Nancy, I don't remember a time when we got to the national anthem at 8:47 without a rain event or some kind of weather concern or something that was a little out of the ordinary. They really have I mean, we haven't had the captain at the door quite yet, but they're really early this evening.
And that's a good sign, because that means we'll get to see a whole lot of this parade before the broadcast is over.
Very dramatic as the New Orleans Police Motorcycle Unit prepares to make its presence known in that very loud and impressive way that is theirs. Here we go. Endymion has reached the Superdome. We don't want you to miss even a minute of the good stuff that's to come, because Endymion has reached the Superdome. We'll take a break and be back with the start of the parade officially in just a minute.
Fox 8 formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants. You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
I see anticipation on faces down there. 13,000 people waiting with bated breath.
You know what? They haven't missed a thing yet, because we still haven't gotten the first float into the dome yet.
Well, you know, the way this used to work is, for anybody familiar, obviously, with the dome layout, is they used to bring in the floats and then bring them all the way around the outside, so that if you were in the middle, fat chance to get anything. And what they did, I don't know if you'd say it was maybe the 20 or 30 yard line or whatever, is where it now makes its turn, and so that you're able to see, you know, much more of the parade. You have people on both sides, riders. Frankly, we used to get creamed, and it's for us. We're up in section 107, so it's a case for us of be careful what you hope for, because we used to not complain, but we used to get pelted, and there's no pelting.
Now we don't. We might get a bead, maybe.
Drew Brees couldn't hit us. Well, maybe Drew could, but it would take a little something.
But
there's like, do you sense like almost a quiet anticipation? This is the quietest this place.
It's like someone waiting for a putt,
evening.
right? It really is quiet. But when the first float rolls in, we should just get sound of that, because it's going to be just out of control. And how many places can you dress up in an evening gown and scream for beads and jump up and down and dance? And I mean, this is just such.
Well, it's like the guy that was interviewed earlier from out of town. And actually, one of the maids this year, I believe, is from Utah or Colorado. Endymion and a number of the other organizations have a kind of a long tradition of, you know, Zulu's got riders, for example, who are from out of town. There are Bacchus years ago had one of the top 3 or 4 executives of Coca-Cola who came in every year and rode in that parade anonymously. Nobody would ever know. They are lovers of New Orleans who have experienced this in one way or another, and either come in every year make it part of their vacation routine to come in for this weekend as a spectator, or in many cases come in and ride. There was that crew that tried about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, the Crew of America, which was a tourist parade, and it didn't quite work.
Didn't get off the ground.
But what was lost in there was that there is a contingent of people who are just lovers of New Orleans who come in and ride.
And how neat is it that we won the 44th Super Bowl, and this is the 44th Endymion, and it's housed in the dome where the Saints just were on fire this season. And if you're the party planner who has to figure out how much bunting and what do you call this? I forget. What is it?
I look at it as netting.
It's
I don't know.
Organza or something.
This is your department,
this
lady.
This is true. I'm the girl in the relationship. But how much netting you need to pull across the dome. This is an unbelievable party setup.
Sorry,
here.
I'm not trying to stereotype you there, but I don't have a clue, and I'll readily admit it.
Well, I always have a clue, but that particular moment I forgot what to call it.
I'm like Rob Masson. I'm real fired up about the number 44 this year. And we'll
Very.
have more of the 44th installment of Endymion and the Extravaganza coming up.
Fox 8 formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants.
There it is, the captain's float, the captain of Endymion. We assume Ed Munez riding as captain this year, as is his right, although they have stand-ins occasionally. But there's an entrance.
With the captain, one of New Orleans' favorite bands.
Little pyrotechnics up in the nosebleed section.
Yeah, this is a newly renovated float, over 300 feet of state-of-the-art, mesmerizing fiber optics suitable for a Greek god. The captain of Endymion celebrating 44 years in this crew. And the costuming in this, we're going to see as these floats come through, are amazing. His cape is trimmed in white fur, which surrounds golden laurel leaves and silver tendrils. Wow, his matching collar is a cloud of white plumes. Unbelievable sight to see.
And you just love the fleur-de-lis in the front.
The captain's float followed by the Endymion walking head and Casa Samba.
And the Top Cats are riding with the captain tonight. One of New Orleans' favorite bands.
I just think there is nothing else in Carnival like this moment when the captain of Endymion enters the Superdome.
Looking good, Captain.
Just one of the truly magical moments in the whole celebration.
Look at the detail on these floats. Just really incredible.
And we will just listen in for a moment.
Casa Samba. Now, Superdome.
They throw so much, the natural sound of the beads is picked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome one of America's finest high school marching bands, the St. Aug High School Marching 100. St. Augustine High School.
Not quite in view here, although they have entered the stadium and gotten a nice round of applause. The St. Aug Marching 100, the Purple Knights. We'll hear from them in just a moment. You know, some of these Endymion characters walk around
He's like, that's mine.
A little extra throw there. That's a little lanyap for you. Some of these Endymion characters are here beforehand. And others just march the entire route. You can eat anything you want after this march.
I mean, think about the calories burned, especially by her.
Or her or him on the stilts. I don't know. I'm thinking that there's a little resistance thing there.
And this is only the beginning of this parade, which is going to go on and on for a few hours now.
As you would expect, the crowd kind of eating up when the Saints go marching in. Or thundering in, whichever you prefer.
And here comes the Marching 100. I hear them.
And we're asking them.
And there they are. The Purple Knights, the St. Augustine High School Marching Band. I'll declare my bias. Just one of the great high school marching bands in all of America. A college level band, I think.
And I see another float coming in. So it starts with a trickle and then with a roll.
Well, there's a little coordination issue here in the beginning, and in fact, the first indication we had that, oh, they must be outside was that we've been showing you that live picture from Gala Hall. Everything stopped, and the live camera wasn't moving the entire parade because Ed Muniz has gotten pretty good about timing this in a way that they enter right around 9 o'clock. I said they were early this year, and they seem to be early with the motorcycle unit. But they just kind of had a nice little pause there, and we're all set to go. And he makes that dramatic entrance. They raise the curtain.
And people, when we took the shot of the crowd a minute ago, they were pretty much licking their lips ready for these beads. They've waited so long for this night and this carnival season, and what a great pre-Mardi Gras tradition.
Well, the thing is, every parade has its own personality and its own history. This parade is, subtly different, a bit different in scope than Bacchus tomorrow night. Some people are Endymion fans, some people are Bacchus fans. But, Monday, I think to see Sean Payton earlier in the week on Smoky Mary, the Orpheus float chose the status of Orpheus for one thing, that they would have the last float and kind of the climax, the exclamation point on that wonderful evening. And then, of course, Tuesday you have the revelry of Rex, and then Zulu, what began as a spoof of Rex, has turned into its own its own tradition.
Let's look outside at our live float camera, see what's going on there. It is moving.
Which I think is an indication that, they were held up waiting for these guys to get going.
Now that's a Lombardi Trophy. Those are the Bensons as they wait to come into the dome.
Yeah, as we go back inside the Superdome for the picture here. In fact, there was on one of the great big screens way up in the upper deck.
Get crunk.
They showed the Lombardi Trophy and the crowd responding. And here we go, the Lombardi Trophy. If there are 13,000 people in this place, 10,000 of them were singing "Stand Up and Get Crunk" at the same time.
And Mr. Benson has been just on cloud 9 on this parade route. He has so much energy. He is just drinking it all in tonight.
World champion. Taking over the good. Taking over 6 p.m.
From Get Crunk to the Timeless. I don't know how timeless Get Crunk is. I suspect for a lot of people, probably so.
From the state of Wisconsin, we welcome the Marshfield High School.
Every time I think this has sunk in.
You see Sheriff Newell Norman throwing till it hurts there on the side of this Grand Marshal float of Tom Benson's. And you saw Rita Benson on the front as well as his wife Gail with him. And
the fact that Tom Benson is riding as Grand Marshal tonight and Drew Brees tomorrow night is a as royalty is a reflection of the success of the season. But those plans are made 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then put into place even before then. Boy, if anybody had realized the timing and how it was going to work out. And you thought of maybe Tuesday as a dress rehearsal, but I'm not really sure if that wasn't the ultimate event.
These guys are from Wisconsin. What must they be thinking right now?
They must be thinking they're following the float that's got the Lombardi Trophy on it. All right, that's a band from Wisconsin saying, "Who dat gonna beat those Saints?" Is that right?
Oh, well, you know, everyone loves a winner. And the parade is rolling again at Gallier, and that's a good sign. We got a lot more to see in this dome tonight. We're going to take a break as we listen to as the Saints go marching in. We'll be back with a lot more in a moment.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
From high atop Papa Joe's SS Endymion, a live picture of the Louisiana Superdome, the home of the Saints, coming into view as the parade marches on. This was designed to be a versatile building. Dave Dixon, when he fathered the dome, when he had the idea, you know, envisioned a place where, as he said at the time, a president would be nominated at a party convention. But clearly, it was designed first and foremost as a football stadium, and it has proved to be quite versatile over the years. Doesn't get quite the convention business it used to because of the convention center in New Orleans, the Memorial Convention Center, but it has proved to be a pretty timeless building. There are domes. Seattle built its dome and tore it down after it built its dome after the Superdome. This has been a building that has had a long life. Many, many millions of dollars have been poured into trying to keep it as modern as possible. And of course, we'll have another great moment in 2013 when maybe the New Orleans Saints will play in the Super Bowl. That somehow doesn't seem as crazy. It's plausible now for the Saints to be in the Super Bowl in New Orleans in the Dome, maybe in just 3 years.
Yep, it seems like it could actually happen. We're looking at this live picture now as the Papa Joe SS Endymion is approaching the Superdome.
And this is a strategic position because what's happened is here people realize they're getting to the dome. The riders have looked down and it's dawned on them, oh no, I'm never going to get rid of all this stuff. I always like to see one of those sort of compressed long shots where you just see them, you know, the goods flying off.
Look at them, just throw me something, mister, they're saying. Get rid of those last few beads, guys, or we're going to get creamed in this dome. As you can see, that final approach, we're getting very, very close to the Superdome right now. It looks like it did that last game before the Super Bowl.
This is a long ride, too. I mean, we're talking, these people have been, you know, going along now for 4 hours or so. They have a lull when the parade gets to the dome, sort of an artificial stop because they like to time it now to make that dramatic entrance at 9 o'clock or so. That's sort of become the timing factor in play. Or maybe the other aspect of this, now that I said that, in the interest of accuracy, maybe they wait, you know, you got that special throw in mind for that special someone, and you're kind of saving it up for that one final spurt.
Right, and it's the picture in the dome of all those beads flying
Final
is
sprint.
So dramatic.
Did I say spurt? I don't even know what that means.
That's all right, it works.
It's Mardi Gras, it works.
Anything goes. So you see the dome and the crowds. Excitement in both pictures.
But very much a split personality. And a little cost difference, too.
Just a little.
Well, that's been an interesting view, a rider's eye view from the Papa Joe SS Endymion. Papa Joe's SS Endymion, one of the signature floats of Mardi Gras. as it prepares to make its way into the Louisiana Superdome. We'll wait on that. We'll have more of our coverage from inside the dome in a moment.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
You are live in the Louisiana Superdome as Endymion 2010 is off and running, and we want to go now to the parade route where we're expecting more floats. Let's go to Chris and Dawn live at Gala Hall.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gala Hall. I just got hit in the face by beads.
You have?
Yeah, I just got smacked in the face.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Look at this.
You've got a lot. Look, we finally have another float passing by. A bit of a break here for a while, but now we've got another float. And if you notice something, none of the lights are on. They must be having a little generator issue here. I actually was looking down the street trying to find another one. I told our producer, well, I don't see one right now. And then all of a sudden, this one comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, we've had a little bit of a delay here at Gala Hall. Of course, the West Jefferson Endicott High School marching band went by, and they provided a pretty good show.
The mayor was getting a little annoyed. He said, let's get this party going. Music started, but he was hoping for another float. Well, we got two more.
Well, you know what else I noticed? I noticed the mayor finally put on his hat, and he has a hat similar to yours. He's got the Brad Pitt look on.
Brad Pitt? That's what I was going for.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't even know, what kind of hat do you call that?
I don't know. It's from Ireland. I'm like an Irish country.
But look at the mayor's getting into it. He's doing the, you know.
The Cupid Shuffle.
The Cupid Shuffle.
He's always getting into the Cupid Shuffle.
Look at that. Everybody over there at Gala Hall is doing the Cupid Shuffle.
Well, it is an organized dance. I don't know all the moves though. You and I were trying to dance earlier, but it looked like like we have some kind of problem.
Everybody out here was having the best time. Of course, you know they.
You see, that's what's nice about it was when we do have a lull in the parade, you got the music, the DJ just across at Gala Hall that keeps you going. So there's always something happening.
Right now we have the L.W. Higgins High School band coming through. They're going to be from Marrero, of course, the West Bank. We've had a lot of West Bank appearances.
They have really represented well in Endymion. I saw Jesuit High School. I mean, not West Bank, but not my cup of tea going to Brother Martin, but I'm not actually sure if Brother Martin is in this. They may not be.
You know, Chris, what I've noticed, I'm totally laden down with beads here.
You have a lot.
I've been catching everything they throw at me.
Well, they like you. They don't like me. I have two beads.
I don't know what you're doing.
You have at least 3 dozen.
You gotta wave at him. Throw me something, mister.
Oh, okay.
Haven't you been through this before?
Yeah, I have. But I've got so many beads at home. I feel like I've caught my fill. 28 years of catching beads. I think I'm good.
It's never ending. Well, here we have the Higgins High School band from Marrero. Let's go ahead and take a listen as they walk on by.
I see y'all.
As we watch the Higgins High School band go by, we're waiting. Of course, we saw the Orphic Egg, and now I think we're waiting for the Talismanic Jewels.
The Talismanic Jewels.
Yes, they've had a lot
of what that is.
The whole entire theme this year, of course, is Abracadabra.
Right. Magical things and whatnot.
Magical, mystical things.
Mystical, thank you.
I haven't caught any of the special throws they have this year. Of course, they have the penguin. I keep thinking that they're going to throw.
I did see on one of the earlier floats a lot of penguins suddenly come flying off. I didn't think penguins could fly.
And then
oh, that's so crazy, Chris.
And then they have of course, the Tom Benson Boogie Cups. I didn't catch one of those. I did catch a cup Cup.
So what you're saying is you haven't caught any of the throws that you really wanted to catch.
Not yet. I did catch.
Okay.
I did catch an Abracadabra Endymion Cup.
Right, but you didn't catch a Tom Benson Cup. You didn't catch a penguin.
Look at this
Dawn,
guy.
this truly
guy
just
in front of
isn't
us
your
is
night.
saying, "Hey, I'm live. I'm on TV." I think his family at home is telling him where to go to get on camera.
Oh, they figured it out, I guess, as they saw the camera and bright lights.
We are looking at the talismanic.
All right, so yeah, you're right. It was the talismanic jewels.
And this float, of course, is derived from the Greek word for accomplishment. The talisman is an object marked with magic signs and was believed to give the owner supernatural powers and protection.
Are they throwing jewels off the float?
I don't know. Let's see. You know what I want to
I'm hoping for an emerald.
I want to catch something that blinks. I want to. Oh, look at they have blinkies. I want to.
You're determined.
Miss Elizabeth Alfred Roman representing Voodoo. And Miss Stephanie Ann Coleman.
The Saints have arrived in the dome.
And the maids. The Saints and the maids.
Yes.
The daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Donald Roman from Covington, California.
Looking at Miss Elizabeth Altine Nauman representing Voodoo and Miss Stephanie Ann Coleman representing Astrology. Elizabeth is of California, from California. She's a sophomore at Dominican University in San Rafael, and she must be just loving this moment right now.
Although I'm not sure how she goes back and explains this, regardless of what family connections there are to New Orleans, regardless of how much she's talked about it. How do you possibly explain this to your sorority sisters?
You probably just don't. You just go back to school and study.
Well, you know, that happens every year to kids. There are those who go out to school out of state, and on Tuesday, it's just another Tuesday in America. And how many people did we hear from, over the years, and especially after Katrina, who were like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible. They want to go to work on Tuesday."
Right. We congratulate the Colombos. Another marvelous job with the costumes for Endymion, with our maids, and of course our beautiful queen.
I think we see a little pleading for beads there.
Yeah.
Bring the plastic on.
A few moments ago, right in front of these ladies, we had Garrett Hartley, Jonathan Vilma, Thomas Morstead, some of those Saints that made such a difference in the last couple of games. And they got a rousing welcome. Let's go to Natasha Robin and Sean Fazan on the floor.
Hey guys, we found Sheriff Newell Norman, who was riding on Tom Benson's float tonight. Tell me, how was the ride?
Absolutely incredible ride. I've been on the Grand Marshal's float several times, and it was one of the loudest, if not the loudest crowd I've ever seen. Every time he held up the Lombardi Trophy, I mean, the sound was just deafening.
You never can see that trophy too much, I don't think.
No, I can tell you, as we were going down the parade route, everybody was asking him to raise the trophy, and every time that he did, the crowd just went absolutely crazy.
And there were large crowds out there all the way through, do you think?
Phenomenal crowds, loud noise, deafening, quite frankly.
We keep talking about the feel in the room tonight with the Saints winning. How much do you think the Saints have played into this Carnival season all the way around, and then, of course, Endymion tonight?
Well, I think not only in the Carnival season, but just the momentum that's been created by this victory and by the team and Drew Brees and the rest of the Saints players as incredible spokesmen and ambassadors for the city. You just can't help but get caught up in the hoopla. You can't help but feel the momentum. It's something in my 52 years I've never experienced, I can tell you, and it's been phenomenal.
It's been a fun few weeks. Saints win the Super Bowl. Mardi Gras kicks off. What really stands out to you in your mind as far as how this whole thing is shaking out?
Well, I think the brotherhood in the city. Everybody just standing side by side, even tonight, hugging and kissing one another as he raised the Lombardi Trophy. I saw several ladies with tears in their eyes. I mean, it just means so much to the city, and it's just so very, very exciting. And then when you talk to everyone that knows someone from around the country that flew into the city to see the Super Bowl and flew into Mardi Gras actually to see all of this happening, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, we think Endymion just can't get any bigger every year, but it's bigger than it was in years past this year, so who knows what else we have in store tonight.
It was quite a treat, and I think for the viewing public it's going to be quite a treat tonight as they see this parade go by.
Well, hopefully next year we'll have the same sort of atmosphere with the Saints winning Super Bowl 45.
Well, at Mr. Benson's toast at Gala Hall, he said, we need to do this several more times.
I think a lot of people would agree with that.
And I think he had 100% support for that notion.
Absolutely.
All right, Sheriff, thank you so much.
Well, thank
Enjoy
you.
the night.
Thank you. It's great.
Thank you. John Nancy, back to you.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say there is 99% agreement with that. Somewhere out there are transplants who might not be pulling with the rest of us, but what a phenomenal several weeks it has been in New Orleans, unlike anything we've seen. And I'm reminded, I was looking back at some of the coverage earlier in the week where somebody had commented that it's the greatest day ever in New Orleans. And whether you believe that or not, it certainly was just one of the phenomenal moments in truly the history of the city, and something that was uplifting. Its words cannot describe that scene on Tuesday. And I really think what we're seeing here tonight is just an extension of that same, call it Lombardi Gras or Dat Tuesday or whatever you want. It's all one celebration molded into one. And we will have much more of it. This installment being the 2010 edition of the Endymion Extravaganza coming up.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
The throwing and the catching have just started here inside the dome. The biggest of the floats still to come. Let's go downstairs in the meantime to Jennifer Van Branken and Nakondra Norwood.
That's right. We have a couple of young ladies here who, we have a lot of beautiful young ladies, but it's, not often you see two that look so much alike, twins. It's tell us your names again.
Jesse and Abby Cantrell.
And you've said this is something you've wanted to do your whole life.
Yes, it's awesome. Yeah. We've been coming to Endymion for 5 years now. Yeah. It's amazing. It's the best ball by far. Definitely. Best parade. It's parade, ball, after party, everything by far.
I'm going to guess you were watching this as a little kid growing up on TV.
Yes, definitely. And our dad would always bring home beads and stuff, and we're like, one day we're going to go to Endymion, one day. And now finally we're here. It's a blast. So it's exciting.
We were all standing here when they opened the doors for the floats to come in. It made a little bit of a difference in this room.
Oh, definitely. We waited outside for a half an hour before they opened the doors to the dome. And then we waited out here for them to open the doors for the parades, the floats to come in. And it's a blast. It lifts the spirit, and everybody's waiting for it. And it's like, when the floats come in, it's like the party started.
It's amazing too. Were y'all watching the bands from other places say "Who Dat"?
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing to see kids from Wisconsin, and they are into the spirit. So obviously, it's not just us; they are infectious. So this fell off. I know. I wanted to show you. Take a look. This is one of the. This is what was on Tom Benson's float. Rita Benson, LeBlanc, and Tom Benson were throwing these. It's a dancing Tom Benson figure and a dancing Endymion figure. So this is one of the throws that are coming off the Grand Marshal's float this year. Certainly a commemorative thing people are going to want to hang on to with the Saints' big win this year. Oh, look at this.
This came from Tom Benson. Saints bees love the Saints. This is awesome. I got lucky enough to catch one, and we actually both caught one. Lucky us, and we're definitely gonna frame them because this is so historical for the Saints and for the city, for New Orleans, and it shows how far we've come, especially since Katrina, and just historically,
And being in this room, I mean, we all remember those images of the roof off of this building. So to be here with the Saints having won the Super Bowl, celebrating as only we know how to do best, it is amazing. We've come full circle.
It's definitely those celebrations that bring everything back around that really warm your heart a little bit more.
So it's been amazing to see, though, like I said, especially people from other parts of the country this year so into this. So I can't imagine that this is just not a turning point and an amazing point for the city of New Orleans.
Yeah, you know, talking about those people from out of town, you mentioned the band from Wisconsin earlier, and I thought it was adorable how the rifle crew decided that they were going to give up their rifles and pull out the umbrella. So they really got into that New Orleans second line spirit there.
One of the young men here escorting you to, you said you caught a hand warmer?
Absolutely. I carry hand warmers with me at all times for him.
You caught one, huh? He caught one.
Here it is, right here.
That is funny.
In the air and they warm up, and he actually caught one from one of the Saints floats. I guess they were keeping them in their pockets with all the beads, huh?
Fortunately, the weather's been really beautiful tonight. So we've been here in years past where the beads they're throwing are wet, and that makes it a little bit of a mess. But this could not have been better. Again, this is just one of those charmed years that everything has been perfect for the city of New Orleans.
Well, that's right, you know, and it was so much, a little bit of worry earlier in the week when we were looking at the forecast and making sure that, hey, everything was going to work out great, and we could not have had a more beautiful day for this. So really nice now that, you know, in the Superdome, don't have to worry about that weather there. We are seeing, you know, comfortable, cool 72 degrees, but I'm sure everybody that was along the route was excited about how nice it was, and it's nice that everything's come along now.
The Queen of Endymion that we're seeing pass us right here on the floor. Such an amazing sight, too, to see those headdresses. There's just nothing like this.
Absolutely beautiful. You know, we heard she was kind of missing in action a little bit earlier, so glad everybody's getting a chance to see her now. Looking at the special guest of Benson LeBlanc, and they are pelting us now, getting a lot of those beautiful balloons we're talking about. Well, let's go ahead and see if I can reach down and see how these are now. These are the Abracadabra 2010, so these are the gear doubloons for Endymion that they're throwing off of this float right now. I'm sure folks are collecting those for time.
I wonder what kids go home and tell their friends, the kids who have been in these marching bands in New Orleans, and they walk into a stadium, the Superdome. I saw so many of the kids looking up in just amazement as they were playing their instruments. One even, in a break where she didn't have to play, had her camera in her hand, took a picture of the crowd. I just don't know how you explain this to anyone elsewhere in the country that, yes, we came off the streets, came into a building where the parade continued, people in ball gowns, you know, yelling, "Who dat? Throw me something, mister." So it's just, it is something that they certainly have never experienced before, but they got into it tonight.
Yeah, you know, and I think sometimes we maybe don't appreciate it quite as much because a lot of us here at Fox 8 have grown up in the city, know, you know, so much about the history of Mardi Gras and how all of this works. And so as much as we love and enjoy it, it's got to be just such a special treat for people that have not seen this often, that do not get to see it often, maybe won't get a chance to see it again.
And a very special year to be here.
Got Warren Eastern Senior High School now right in front of us, so put on a great show.
It's going to be a long night, you know, marching it the entire length, but they are into it.
Well, I'm always so impressed with the marching bands because of that very reason. They get through those long parade routes, and at the end they are still marching, dancing, keeping in step. The majorettes back there really turning a great show there, and it's just amazing how they can keep it up all the way through, but I guess that's what youth can do for you.
She pulled out the hand warmer. Ooh, that feels great.
It is a little chilly in here. We might have to pass that around.
What's been your favorite sight so far tonight?
I think it's Tom Benson holding up the trophy. I mean, it sends a wonderful message to all of us. It makes us believe. I think it's wonderful.
As we have for 40-something years.
It's about time.
It is a sight. It never gets old. You see him holding that trophy up, and this is the closest we've been to it tonight, and it is amazing to see. I don't think they're letting it out of their sight very, very, very far.
No, I think this is the beginning of wonderful things for New Orleans. and it is our time, and we're telling the world, and it's bringing us all together.
You know, it has been like that. We've commented on it so much, but I just don't think we can comment on it enough. And one of the things we were mentioning earlier, how many other cities get to see the Lombardi Trophy so many times? It's so exciting.
We have the perfect occasion to show it off. We're going to toss it back to you guys.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Moment of Endymion 2010.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
We are live in the Louisiana Superdome, and the theme of tonight's parade, Abracadabra. But the people who are the focus of tonight's parade are the New Orleans Saints. I tell you what, it has been another Saints pep rally tonight.
It has been that indeed, and Jennifer Hale spoke just a short while ago with Grand Marshal Tom Benson.
Guys, we're here with the Endymion Grand Marshal, Mr. Tom Benson. Sir, did you have a good time tonight?
Boy, it was wonderful. It was more than I thought it would be, I'm going to tell you. Like you see it right now, it was like this all over the city.
What was the crowd's response to the Lombardi Trophy?
What?
What was the crowd's response to the Lombardi Trophy?
Oh, they loved it. They loved it. It was tremendous. Thank you.
Happy Mardi Gras, sir. So guys, the Grand Marshal of Endymion, it's a little bit crowded right now. Everybody obviously wants some time with the man of the hour, but he said he had a fantastic time riding. He said it was one of the activities of a lifetime. He's ready to do it again, another Super Bowl and another Mardi Gras where he gets to present the Lombardi Trophy to thousands of people lining the parade route. Guys, back to you.
That was Jennifer Hale talking with Grand Marshal Tom Benson, who has been just flying high these last few days.
Sheriff Newell Norman was on the float earlier, and he made the observation that people would scream for them to show the Lombardi Trophy, and every time Tom Benson or somebody else would lift it, my impression is, based on what we saw, that most of the time it was in fact Tom Benson. He would lift it up, and there would be this thunderous ovation. And the sheriff talked about what this period we've gone through has meant to tourism, and all the indications are that this has been a pretty good carnival. There's some thought that this might be, as you would hope the trend would be, the biggest Mardi Gras celebration since Katrina. And some of the Al Gross, who manages one of the French Quarter hotels, the Royal Sonesta, was telling us yesterday or the day before that they are seeing some spin-off, and you would kind of expect it in the sense that they always say, oh, the Super Bowl brings you publicity. Now, we've not had that from having been a participant before, but there is a vibe, and there's no way to measure how many people looked at the ride this team took, or looked at the images, frankly, of Tuesday and said, wow, that's a fun place, let's go there.
Well, and
as well as recent renovations right here in the Superdome. Henrik is the widower, and he's the father.
All right, we have a unique perspective as our Fox 8 live camera rides into the Superdome. That's something you don't get to see every day.
Nope.
Honor Patrick Russo, selected by the Queen by blind draw at our Coronation Ball several weeks ago.
And you get a sense as you listen to just the thunder that rises up from the streets.
Just simply acknowledging that he wants to be. His name goes into a barrel. At the Coronation Ball, the Queen picks a name. And this year, she picked Patrick Russo. Hey, Patrick. Congratulations.
As we look at His Majesty Endymion.
We'll switch off the Endymion live shot and head back inside the dome now for a chance to meet our king, Patrick Russo, His Royal Majesty Endymion 44.
He's the vice president and majority stockholder of a multi-state electrical contractor firm
that's done some work on a number of projects in Louisiana, including, ironically enough, the Dome.
And you know what the neat thing about being the king of Endymion is it's an equal opportunity position, and you sort of just get it by lottery. They pull your name and you're the king.
Although there is some expense involved, obviously, considerable expense. So I love the mini. I'm sorry, I love the mini little miniature light truck that was preceding the other one.
It's like we're looking. Boy, look at that float. That must have cost a fortune.
Well, and I happened to glance up and saw it, and I didn't see it in its right dimensions, and then thought, wow, this parade gets bigger all the time.
That's great. Well, I can't wait to see what we were telling them about the perspective coming into the Dome, because you wonder what that scene is like when you enter this Superdome and then the crowd just goes crazy. We're going to get to see that firsthand.
There was a guy on the light truck taking pictures, because that's the other thing now with digital cameras, and home video is so much easier and cheaper than it used to be to just take a picture. It doesn't cost you anything to take a picture. And you know, you see that so often now as the guys on the float grabbing the camera, or the Saints players, both the other night and then especially, you know, when they came in from the homecoming the other day. Our reporters were telling us that practically every player, you know, was grabbing for a camera to take, or a video camera of some sort, to take a quick shot and record it for posterity.
Dear Mom, look what I did today.
Yes. Well, and as Nakandra pointed out, one of the great things is these kids that are in these bands who are screaming "Who Dat" of all things. And you know, when I went to Miami, or when we were in Miami a couple of weeks ago, ran into somebody with the Downtown Development District in Miami who was talking to us about the Who Dat Nation.
44 years ago, a very young Ed Nunez, broadcast sales executive here.
You know, rather than sit here and try to trouble through something, I'll just do a little bit of housekeeping and mention to our crew that we may have lost our audio connection back to the station, since we just had a message about directory assistance in our ears. And I apologize to the viewers at home, but there may not be another way to get that message to somebody.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
We may be operating a little on the deaf side here in terms of having audio on this side. But in the meantime, it's a great show.
It's a great shot here.
Endymion, and we salute Ed Nunez for his wisdom, courage, determination.
And you know what? I think the Papa Joe is actually coming into the Dome right now.
I believe that's the St. Mary's High School band.
Papa Joe.
No, I'm sorry, Jesuit. Excuse me. We've had. You have to indulge us. They actually have had some changes in the order here tonight, so that the order which they normally stick to pretty religiously, if you'll pardon me, has changed just a bit.
Papa Joe's coming in too behind that band.
And Joe Muniz. This gutsy steamboat is Sean Millions.
In the meantime, we'll listen into the band.
It's created a proud tradition, now carried on by the behemoth, Captain Eddie's SS Endymion. She's been renovated. She now sports new smokestacks, point-end fiber optic lights, balustrade railings along her upper and lower decks. There's been a lot of water under her keel since '76, but Papa Joe's is still a class act. And we welcome the St. Mary's High School marching band from uptown New Orleans. St. Mary's, a girls' Catholic high school, uptown New Orleans.
By the way, as we approach 9:47 here, we realize that we are serving at the moment probably a couple of audiences, one of which might be people who are tuning in for the big Powerball, twice-a-week Powerball drawing. So if you are joining us for that reason, we welcome you to our live coverage from inside the Louisiana Superdome of the 44th installment of Endymion, and we'll let you know that we will have the live drawing coming up in about 10 minutes or so of the Powerball.
What a great shot of the people on this float who have been throwing till it hurts all the way down that Mid-City route, and now they have reached, in their eyes, the promised land.
I always like to just sit back on these wide shots and just watch the goods fly off. Or in that case, I think hit a microphone that we had down there. Papa Joe's SS Endymion, the first super float, the largest float in Mardi Gras when it made its debut so long ago. Commissioned 1976 New Orleans.
That's her home port, but you know, in Kenner in 1979, she navigated those roadways because that's the year that the parades were canceled in New Orleans, and then she went uptown in 2003 when the route changed. So she's been a long way and she's come a long way, but she's still really one of the most charming floats in the parade. We'll be back with a lot more in just a moment. Stay with us.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
We're back in the Louisiana Superdome as we watch the pageantry of Endymion 2010 as the bands and the floats and
in this case, Endymion welcomes you to the Mardi Gras, one of the signature floats, one of those that is endemic of Endymion.
Oh, right.
Every year. This carries the Baton Rouge contingent. 101, you say it like, oh, well, it's just 120 feet. 120-foot long greeting card. It's a three-dimensional float that got a complete facelift in 2001, and then they put on more of that multi-point fiber optic, in this case 1.2 million feet of point-in fiber optic lighting.
Yeah, it's like the front of the float is the old city of New Orleans. The back of the float is the new modern city that we know today. And it's just a really terrific tribute to the city. And what a great time for this float to be rolling through right now when the city is so excited and happy and alive.
A large reclining gesture, underscoring scenes of old New Orleans. And the modern city.
It's been quite a ride. I mean, these guys, they did the Mardi Gras. They've been on the floats now for pushing 5 hours. They'll be like Drew Brees. They'll need to get their arms iced down.
No worse for the wear. They're slowing down a lot, though. You can tell they're kind of tired tonight. They're ready to get off of these floats and get to their tables.
Let's go downstairs to Jennifer Van Brinken and Nicandra Norwood.
We're here with someone our viewers will recognize, Jefferson Parish's interim president, Steve Terrio. This has been a nice night of support between the two parishes.
Well, it's an exciting celebration, continuous from the Super Bowl. It looks like not only for Mardi Gras, but everybody's having a great time.
Now you have someone you're waiting to come into the dome, right?
Yes, I have. My son-in-law is riding one of the floats.
Why does he do this every year? What does he enjoy?
I guess he just enjoys the Mardi Gras spirit and enjoying
my yellow ticket.
being involved in Mardi Gras itself.
Do you think the spirit is different this year?
Well, look, I've seen a whole rekindled spirit this entire year since the Saints' success on the field. So, it's been great.
Now it does seem like the Saints theme has just been going on so much. Do you think it's overshadowing Mardi Gras?
Well, I tell you what. I think the important part is giving a whole new demeanor to all the citizens. Everybody seems much more friendly and cooperative in their celebration.
And it has to benefit the whole metro area. I mean, Jefferson Parish put in for the Saints parade the other day because it benefits the entire region.
Well, the Saints are housed in Jefferson Parish, but not only the metropolitan area, but the entire region. So it's probably a good example of regionalism.
We're about to get pelted by beads, so we're going to let you take your defensive stance.
Hands up. Hands up, everybody. you have to do it even if you don't necessarily ready, or you're not necessarily ready to catch the beads, because you're going to get killed otherwise.
Is your son-in-law going to be on this side?
No, he's on the other side.
Go figure on that one.
Thank you for joining us. Happy Mardi Gras to you.
Same to y'all. Thank you. Nice.
Again, being down here on the floor is an interesting experience. It's a little unlike being out on the parade route where you really are asking for the beads to come to you and you're begging for them to be thrown. Here, as you might be able to hear from the pelting noise, it's a tough scenario. Fortunately, someone just softly threw a big pair of beads toward us, but it can be a pretty dangerous thing. And our photographers do an amazing job because they have a camera on their shoulder as they're trying not to get smacked in the head with beads to bring this to you. So it's an amazing experience right down here at float level. John and Nancy?
Guys, this would be the one night I think where it would be appropriate to wear a ball gown and a football helmet.
They have those.
Let's just listen in on some of the sights and sounds of the parade as we wait for the Powerball drawing.
What's that, Bob Brett? I'm going to take a chance and say that's Party on the Moon performing right now. I know they're one of the cover bands that.
And this gives new definition, new meaning to Battle of the Bands because the marching band is playing and the band on the stage.
Oh, these are the wise guys, actually. Good. Okay, these are the wise guys. They're good, whoever they are. Must make you proud to throw a party like this, and nobody can do it like Ed Munez. Evan Anderson talked to him about his ride tonight.
Hey guys, we're joined here by Ed Munez, captain of the Endymion Extravaganza 2010. And Ed, exciting time for you. How are things going right now? Having a lot of fun.
Well, we're having a lot of fun, but it's a big effort to put it on, and it's got a little chilly out there at night, but it's not bad. It was a good ride. Had a lot of people out on the street, all screaming about the Saints.
Right.
So, but it was a lot of fun, and thank God it didn't rain.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Saints, I mean, how exciting is this? How big is the celebration with the Super Bowl victory to have such a huge Endymion Extravaganza?
It's a combination of two things New Orleans is known for: the Saints and Mardi Gras.
Saints and Mardi Gras. Thank you so much. I know you got to get back to your duties. That's good for now. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you.
To think it started with 165 riders, and the first year in 1966, he couldn't pull it off. Didn't have enough people. Had to wait a year in order to go out there and parade, and this thing just blew up into the biggest event, biggest single crew in all of Mardi Gras.
And it's not, Bacchus is not trailing far behind, and ironically, Ed Munez went to a library to try to find a name for this crew, and it came down to Endymion and Bacchus. And there was a horse that did really well for him, so that horse's name was Endymion, so he decided to go with that.
And then it just so happened that 3 years later, another crew came along and said, we like this Bacchus name. Abracadabra. On this magical night, the theme of the parade, the tidal float makes its way through the Louisiana Superdome.
So much thought is put into these themes, and as we try to explain some of these floats, we may sound like college professors, but it's really a fun.
You may sound like a college professor. And I mean that with the highest regard. I like the one later on, float number 20, the I Ching float, which is a Chinese philosophy and the oracle for its solutions to life's problems. And a couple of the characters are yin and yang, bedecking the sides, as opposed to yin yang.
The yin yang twins. And it was fun. We got to meet them and take pictures with them the other day. That was cool. They're our friends now, the yin yang twins.
Yin and yang? Or, yin yang. All right. The parade passes and it turns into a concert.
It does.
And then another float passes.
And some of the floats are heading out to make room for others. As you said, this is Abracadabra coming in.
Well, there's quite a choreography to this because A, they have to go around and make the entire loop around the dome. Then, you disembark, you got to get them out. So one of the reasons we have some of these lulls from time to time are just the mechanics of unloading, in some cases, 100 plus riders from these massive floats.
Let's go to Jennifer Van Branken and Nakondra Norwood.
On the floor, and I mean the band is cranking, everybody is dancing and having a good time. Tell me, what have you most enjoyed so far tonight? Everything. Did you catch this boa? I'm sorry, did you catch the boa or did you bring it? I caught it. Oh, okay. I love the fleur-de-lis. Tell us a little bit about that.
I caught this, I stole it from her.
Now, all the ladies here have been thinking about that, all dressed up. You got the manicures done. Are you worried about your manicure tonight?
Yeah, I keep holding my hands in so I don't break my fingernails.
Do you think you're going to succeed?
Yeah. I took off my rings, too.
The nice thing, too, so many families are together tonight. You're with family, right? This is her dad. Tell me, does your family do this every year?
All of them. Younger, daughter, son, husband, sister, brother-in-law.
does it mean for this to be such a family experience for you?
I'm sorry?
What does it mean for this to be such a family experience?
Wonderful. And my son, my daughter, my sister, my brother-in-law, my husband rides, my son rides, my nephew rides.
Now, just like family, they're throwing popcorn behind you.
Yeah,
like a typical sibling, they're tossing popcorn while she's on television.
I'm thinking we're going to have to hide from this family when their float comes by because we don't want to be anywhere around that much beans being thrown at one time.
It's been fun though, and again, we've been watching families down here waiting for their loved ones to come in, and they're yelling their names, trying to get their attention, and of course being right here on the front row, it's pretty easy to do. So a lot of families enjoying this tonight together, and they're waiting for them to get off the float so they can actually join them and have a little fun here in the Superdome. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, guys. You know, the Wise Guys are doing Best of My Love. It's Valentine's Eve. Let's go to that. This is float number 5, Gypsy Fortune Tellers. Little Romanian theme here.
Madam Zena reads her magical cards, which gives her the gift of insight. Sort of like the ladies down in Jackson Square.
I'm sure that's what they were thinking of.
A lot of people wait in line to hear their fate as the Gypsy Fortune Tellers warn of trouble.
Look at the plunder come off the side of that float.
Oh, yeah.
I would say that's one of the more generous floats we've seen.
Maybe they see a bright future for this crowd.
There you go. It's always something as the band is rocking and you're hearing the kind of the roar of "Throw Me Something, Mister," and then the next sound you hear is the distinctive clink of plastic hitting the microphone on the camera.
Or hitting something. Or helmet.
Hazardous duty pay ought to be involved in that.
Look at the colors and the lights, and it's just such a beautiful sight coming in this dome tonight.
Well, and I certainly can understand why somebody would want to go out because it's fun when Endymion just gets going. Obviously, they're very generous in those first moments when it's still daylight. There's a neighborhood feel to it, but these floats are designed, let's face it, for nighttime. And we saw that the other day in just the Saints Parade with some of the nighttime crews. It was nice when it started, but boy, when they turn those fiber optic lights on,
the drama starts.
not exactly the fatted calf there.
The bouffe gras, he's not.
Not quite.
This is a labyrinth of the Minotaur. The tail of the Minotaur is a creature with the head of a bull and the body of a human.
And as the largesse comes off the Minotaur float, we'll take a break from Greek mythology and beads and noise and be back with more of the 2010 edition of the Endymion Extravaganza on Fox 8.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
The Wise Guys playing Honky Tonk Woman tonight, and it is on fire in this Superdome as this crew of Endymion is throwing till it hurts, and this is a real party, John.
Let's go downstairs to Sean Fazan and Natasha Robin.
Guys, we're here with Will Smith, defensive end of the New Orleans Saints. And Will, what's it like the last 2 weeks? What's it been for you?
It's been crazy, man. It's a good ride. Everybody's been great. The fans have been great. Just the city of New Orleans has been great. Everywhere around the world has been great. Everybody.
You know, you look at what happened. Saints win the Super Bowl, Mardi Gras. It's just been just a barrage of good times. What's really stood out to you most?
Just the fan support. We know we got some great fans, but after Tuesday, you know, that's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I know everybody else. That's all we've been talking about the past couple of days. How many people came out to support us for our victory parade?
You know, in most cities, you know, the fans would come to support the players, but here, it's almost like the players and the fans are intertwined. You guys are just as much into the parade as the fans were.
Yeah, definitely. We're more connected with our fans than a lot of other professional teams are, and we know that, and just to have them come out and support us the way they did, you know, in Miami it was nothing but New Orleans Saints, man. Everywhere we went this whole year, it's just been nothing but great support, so hopefully we don't get hit by no
Will Smith, tell me about the extravaganza tonight and how you ended up here, and what do you think about tonight here in the Dome?
Well, we're on Mrs. Benson, Rita Benson's float, me and Vilma and the kicker Harley, and you know, this is my first time ever riding on the float for the parade. I've been here a long time, and I've been to the parade, but I've never actually rode in one of the floats. it was a great experience.
What was it like out there on that parade route? I know the crowds were thick.
Yeah.
What was it like out there? What was the reception like from the fans out there?
They're still overwhelmed with joy. They just shown us nothing but love, and words can't really describe how you feel as a player when you see a city support you as much as New Orleans has for us.
I know a lot of people, a lot of Hoodats said it's still not sinking in, like they just can't believe it. I mean, has it sunk in for you?
No, I think after Mardi Gras is over with, it'll probably start to sink in everybody. It's just unbelievable. Every time you turn on TV, you see New Orleans Saints Super Bowl champs. It's kind of overwhelming sometimes.
And last question, what's it go on this? We're celebrating Super Bowl 44.
Yes.
Will we have another parade for Super Bowl 45?
Absolutely. We got to make sure everybody comes back. We got to make sure everybody stays healthy and everybody puts in the work, hard work and dedication that we did this past season, this upcoming season. And I think we'll have a great opportunity, a great shot to win it.
Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
At Saints defensive end, Will Smith will send things back to you.
All right, thanks, guys. That's known in the business as a good get. And our thanks to Will Smith on this night when he could easily say, enough. Let me just enjoy the party. He took a few moments out, and he's right. Has it soaked in for you yet? Has it sunk in?
No, not quite. I think parties like this and like the parade the other day, it helped a lot. But it's just for so long, we were the Aints, and now we ain't and no more.
And you can't ride around, now part of it is because they have the new flag that you put up on the, that you attach to the window to the top of the car.
Right.
And the new one is, I noticed today, Super Bowl champions, somebody was selling that. And so I suppose that's part of the phenomenon that you can't drive around for 5 minutes in New Orleans without seeing somebody almost like it's game day with the flags. That's okay. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'm ready for it to soak in.
No, I'm not ready for it to end.
Maybe, as Will Smith says, after Tuesday. The Wise Guys are putting on a pretty good show in the meantime, so we will once again listen in. Take that. I don't know what that throw was. I don't know if you noticed about 45 seconds ago. I think it was one of those light up cups, really big, large.
Yeah, like a big daiquiri cup that lights up.
That's a
or
top
water
prize.
cup
That's
or whatever
nice
it is.
As the Merlin float comes into view.
Some people call the Saints season magical. Some people call it divine intervention. Other people call it just plain skill. Whatever it was, we love it because we have a great team this year. And I remember thinking at some of those games, oh, come on, we need a miracle, and we always got one. Speaking of miracles, Garrett Hartley was one of our miracles this season. Let's go down to Sean Fazan.
Guys, we're down here with kicker Garrett Hartley. Down here with kicker Garrett Hartley, one of the heroes of the Saints season. Garrett, I'm sure you've heard this question a lot. Has it all sunk in yet?
Absolutely not. And I definitely don't agree with being a hero. I'm just another piece of the puzzle. But however, Sunday night versus the Colts, they came together to create the perfect picture. And here we are, Super Bowl 44 champions.
You know, you joined the team last year midway through the season, and then all of a sudden, a year and a half later, you're kicking field goals in the Super Bowl. I mean, how do you handle that?
I mean, honestly, you can't think about it. You just have to go out there and do your job just like anybody else has to do theirs. just like Drew has to go out there and throw the ball, or Vilma has to go out there and tackle people. I just have to go out there and kick the ball and maybe try to have fun while I do it.
And Garrett, tell me, how was the ride tonight? What was it like out there?
Oh, it's amazing just having the the fan base that we do and the support from the city. It's truly remarkable.
And what about the ride on Tuesday? It was just amazing the amount of people who came in, not just from New Orleans, but across the country that actually came in for that parade. What was it like, going through that city after that Super Bowl win?
It was complete utter chaos. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'll never forget those memories, and our fans are amazing, and honestly, God bless them.
Last question, how many times have you watched a game-winning kick to go to the Super Bowl? Have you watched it many times?
Only one time with my own family. Other than that, I haven't. I was just trying to prepare myself for the Super Bowl, and maybe in my time off, I'll watch it and try to critique myself a little bit, but other than that, I'm not going to worry about it.
Garrett Hartley, one of the heroes of Super Bowl 44, one of the heroes of the Saints season. John and Nancy, we'll send things back to you.
Hey, thanks, guys. That's interesting that he's only watched that kick one time. At that point, it was, still the biggest kick of his career, although the fact that he set that Super Bowl record for 3 kicks, the only kicker in the history of the Super Bowl to hit 3 from 40 yards plus, but says he's not a hero, he's just another piece to the puzzle.
And he says he has to critique the kick. Why? Why would you critique that? That was perfect.
Well, we think there's nothing to it. There are about 5,000 things that can go wrong, I guess, including, I suppose, with pulling off a Mardi Gras parade, but this one tonight going off without a hitch. And we'll have more of the 2010 edition of the Endymion Extravaganza live from the Louisiana Superdome on Fox 8.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
They are parading through the Superdome now, one after the other.
Yeah, it's become a virtual love train on this eve of Valentine's Day, as you mentioned earlier. This is not your typical Saturday night.
We usually have a pregame show with bands, local bands. Is it me, or do you think they got going during the course of the parade a little earlier than normal this year?
I think so.
Let's go downstairs to Conra Norwood.
Everybody's in full swing here. We've been talking about the big family groups, and we have another one now. What family is this going on over here? But tell us all who's here.
Just a big group of friends from Metairie.
And what's been the best part of the night for you guys?
We got a front row seat, and we didn't have to camp out all day.
Well, I guess that is a big deal, especially since we've been talking about so many people being out there all day long trying to have fun out there. So for you guys, are you catching the good throws here?
We drove here, yes.
I was asking if you're catching the good throws.
It's awesome. This is the best spot to be.
What have you caught so far that you're just loving and you're not going to give up?
All the glowy necklaces.
All right, guys, that's just been the go around the area. We're going to see if I can run across here. We've got some great folks out on the other side. Let's see what's going on with these guys. Hey, what are you guys doing?
Oh, how you doing, baby?
Now, you've been having a good time?
Oh, yes, ma'am, we are.
Tell us a little bit about what you guys been catching.
A little bit of everything. Beautiful beans from my wife. Look at this. Isn't that
beautiful, you can't help but catch beautiful beads.
I know it makes a lot of work. We're gonna just battle back across the street before the floats get here. We don't want to get run over. You know, it's a little bit different than when you're making it across in those tennis shoes when you got to try to navigate it in high heels. This is a different experience out here. And I'll tell you, I was earlier today in a little family parade with my family, and I just can't imagine the difference in riding these floats. So much bigger, such a long route. I did Zulu last year and excited about doing it again this year. And I'm thinking about these guys. They have been throwing for hours and hours now. And you would think that they'd be a little bit weaker, a little bit less ready to go. But no, not at all. They are just getting started. They can't seem to stop. And I think this is the energy that people are waiting for all year long around here. And with things having been so exciting for so long, it's just a big treat for everybody to be able to get out and enjoy. Now, as we've been looking at these floats going by, I've really been saying, hey, I'm looking for those specialty beads, and I'm not quite seeing them as much. They're holding them back till they get right in front of their families and friends. They want to make sure that they're getting those specials right to them. And it's been such an exciting night out here. Roads coming our way still, and it's actually kind of scary as well, as we keep emphasizing that as these floats go by. As you're a little kid, your big dream is always to be right on that front row, get your hands high up, catching the eye of that guy that's on the float that's going to throw you something, mister. And when you're so close, you can catch so many eyes, and there's so much coming your way. It definitely is an extremely different experience, and we're just going to continue to be doing throughout the evening here. We are going to go ahead and try to protect myself and send it back to you guys.
All right, I think we should equip all of our reporters with football helmets. This year we could have gotten away with it.
We really could have. We saw a couple of ladies with their helmets on that they said that their dads had hailed from Tulane Stadium. And the floats just keep on coming, as do the hits from the wise guys.
Well, the great thing about this is the pace they're going, because what they've done now is, instead of, we're not seeing marching bands anymore. As we look at these floats come in just one after another, I think we're going to see the whole parade tonight.
I think so too, which is great.
And their choreography is to, come in, they make the semicircle, then the way it works now with the main body of the floats is they'll exit. There's one exiting now, so they kind of the ultimate yielding of the right-of-way, and then the riders will disembark as they get to the entrance of the Superdome again.
We're looking at the Enchanted Cup of Comus. After concocting a potion to seduce a young maiden, the magician Comus entices her to drink from that cup. But he didn't know that the nymph Sabrina had told the maiden's brothers to come beat him up. And of course the brothers were able to free the young girl and break the spell.
Euphemistically. Or maybe not euphemistically. By the way, back to that point of how the progress we're making here tonight. This is float number 18 of 21. No, I'm sorry, 24.
Yeah.
24? 24. So at the pace they're going, I think we could be easily wrapping this thing up in terms of the end of the parade well in advance of 11:30, if not 11:15. And it's just one continuous stream of plastic flying off.
Yep.
By the ton.
We're going to take a break now. We know you love watching this party, but we'll be back with a whole lot more, so stay right where you are. Much more of Endymion 2010 in a moment.
watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
We are back in the Louisiana Superdome as Endymion 2010 rolls through, listening to bands and watching them throw till it hurts. And now we want to go.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it hurts.
It does hurt. It hurts watching, that's for sure.
Let's go downstairs on the Superdome floor to Nicandra Norwood.
But look who we've got here. It is a Fox 8 party, Mr. Bob and Brenda Brett.
And there's no rain in here tonight.
I know you had the best forecast for the week, and everybody was so excited when you brought it out earlier.
You know what? Tomorrow is a special day for Brenda and I. 7-year anniversary on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Congratulations. You know, we don't usually get to get duded up like this together.
I think so.
He cleans up good, doesn't he? Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been watching you. How come all the guys are throwing stuff to you?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's because it's a good-looking lady.
Well, you know, they've been really generous. We haven't really had to work too hard for it, so.
I'd say weather rocks.
Maybe they just like the forecast.
I don't know. The only forecast we want is Super Bowl repeat. Oh, Saints.
Brenda, what's been your favorite part of the night?
Oh, all the floats and getting all the favors and stuff. It's really
getting
fun.
hurt.
Yes, surviving.
Well, it all has been so much fun out here. Now, I know you've been doing this for a long time, Bob.
Oh, 30-some years. It never gets old. You just got to get into it and keep your hands up and hope that none of these guys throw something too hard.
Well, we have definitely been working on that. Jennifer Hill is here with us now, and we're getting her back into the picture. Thanks so much, Bob and Brenda. We're going to let you guys get back to the party and a little bit farther away from the throws. Jennifer, you all set up for me?
I'm all set up. Reinforcements have arrived. I tell you what, it gets dangerous out here. You have to play a little defense with all these bees. The floats are really unloading all of their swag, all their goodies, and leaps and bounds over here. You got all the good stuff.
Well, you know, there's plenty more left up there, so I think you've got a really good chance of picking some up.
And this is my favorite so far, the Saints bead.
Now, you're going to need to get that sign somewhere on there.
That's a good idea. You know, we've got a whole bunch of players over here. Velma, Will Smith, Harley, tons of folks over here. It's a great turnout tonight.
It was lots of fun hearing them talk earlier about all of the activities and everything that's been going on this week. And, you know, I think the comparisons between the parade on Tuesday and what they saw out there tonight, just so amazing to hear those differences in there. And it really is a wonderful thing for the city where we've been able to have the chance to see this. You know, every year we get the opportunity to see a beautiful display by Endymion. And it's just so nice to be able to go ahead and enjoy all of that. But with all the added atmosphere and the added activity, you know, I don't think we can talk about that enough.
And one of the great things about this year is that it's such a local Mardi Gras, such a local celebration. I think the Saints have inspired everyone to want to celebrate just being a New Orleanian and what the city stands for. And I've had so many more friends who usually go out of town this time of year decide to stick around and revel in it. And that's great because, geez, as much as we love tourists and love to show off our city, we want to be able to enjoy it too.
Yeah, you know, with so much that has been going on around, I think a lot of folks were wondering, is Mardi Gras going to kind of go by the wayside? And obviously, the display that we are seeing here tonight is certainly saying otherwise. We are seeing so many people that are out here enjoying themselves, having a great time, enjoying these beautiful floats. We've seen it all along the route, and now as you know, they come into the ball and they really get the chance to be around their group of people that are here trying to enjoy all of the dancing and activities that are going to be coming up later on tonight. Come on, you know, like we're going from the float, they see us talking, and now they want to stop throwing. What's that all about?
You know what,
there we go, there we go.
I have to tell you how impressed I am. You're sitting here talking us through this parade, holding your microphone with one hand, catching, aka deflecting beads with the other. That takes some coordination.
Well, you know, I've been a little rusty at it, but I'm getting better, so we don't have to talk anymore. We're going to go back upstairs.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll be back with more of our coverage of the 2010 edition of the Endymion Extravaganza.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
We are looking live at a picture of the Louisiana Superdome, and this is as good as it gets during Mardi Gras. This is terrific. Endymion 2010. Let's go to Natasha, Robin, and Sean Fazan.
You know, we're having a great time down here. And just to show you what we've been doing, we've been catching a lot of bees.
A lot of stuff there.
We have some cups here, some Endymion 2010 with the theme Abracadabra on them. Of course, I have my football here that I had the Saints sign.
And some Saint players.
This is my favorite throw of the night. I will not let this one go. And also, just to show you, I'm going to need some help.
I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's kind of a something to hang on my hand there.
We really don't know.
But it's catch at your own risk. It's catch at your own risk down here because they're bombing us with bees as we step out of the way here for the float.
We have a float coming through here.
It's been wild down here. Bees everywhere. Chaos.
Okay, guys. You see, when a float comes through, it's complete chaos down here because everybody has their arms up and just about everybody catches something as well. I want to talk to you earlier tonight. We caught up with someone it was his first Endymion. Let's check in with him now and see how he's doing.
We're doing great. How you doing tonight?
What do you think about Endymion?
Endymion 2010 is amazing, amazing. Great floats, great fun, great booze, great music. What more can you ask for in New Orleans?
I have a feeling you'll be back.
I will be back, definitely.
Okay, guys. John, Nancy, back to you.
All right, Natasha, thanks. Yeah, he summed it up pretty well. You can't ask for much more.
Man, a few words, but it's always interesting to see somebody experience this the first time. Sort of like trying to describe the Grand Canyon.
You know, that's a great way to put it.
We're going to stay out of the way for just a little bit and listen in.
I did not mean to yell at y'all, but that thing was coming. I'm like, really
How do these guys have anything left to throw, or in this case, to hand?
I mean, they must have had just boxes and boxes and boxes, just unimaginable amounts of stuff to get through this route and then to keep these folks happy in this dome.
There's a row around the entire dome. Of course, it goes through, makes that semicircle through the kind of the infield, if you will, and then all around them on the outside there's a row of about 12 or 15 deep, and then the entire, if you want to call it the infield section, that's inside the semicircle. But there are rows of about 15 people on both sides of these floats actively pursuing plastic.
You're looking at the carnage of Mardi Gras. Somebody's got to clean that stuff up. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
Endymion 2010 is raring to go tonight. Look at those hands waiting for beads and trinkets and all the like. Let's go to Jennifer Hale and Nakondra Norwood in the middle of all that.
Being down here on the floor, and you can just tell by looking at the folks behind us, they are really having a good time as well. We got some great throws here. Tell us about what you guys have been doing tonight.
One thing to say this year, who dat, baby, who dat? Lombardi Trophy. We're loving Endymion. Thank you, Ed Munez.
Now, I've seen this beautiful flashy necklace you got going on here.
I'm sorry, what?
She likes
your flashing tiger.
How could you not? This parade is the most fabulous parade in the entire world with so much going on. With Rita Benson, Gail, and Tom Benson being here, how could you ever want anything more? You gotta love it.
What did you think of that Lombardi Trophy? Did you get a chance to see it come through?
I saw it, and you know what? New Orleans deserves it. We deserve it.
We love Joe Cook.
That's right. Joe Cook is great, and Fox 8 is wonderful, and you know what? New Orleans is the most wonderful city in the entire world.
Mardi Gras is always so special here, but with winning the Super Bowl and having all that Saint celebration so close to Mardi Gras, does it make it even better this year?
You know what? I don't think we can ask for anything more, and including snow on the North Shore. I mean, well, they say hell would froze over. You know what? It did, and we won, and we are the best city in the entire world.
I don't think you'll get any arguments on that from anywhere around here tonight, especially. We have been having such a great time, and we kept saying this earlier, talking about the Lombardi Trophy. How many cities get to see that trophy paraded around over and over again? It's so awesome.
I was right by Tom Benson when he came down with the trophy in his hands, and it's like everybody just wanted to reach over and touch it. Everybody crowded around the float just to get their hands in there.
They never said we were going to win. They never said we would not fly, but you know what? We did. And we are prospering, and we are the best city to live in the entire nation.
What band are you looking forward to most tonight?
What?
What band are you looking forward to most tonight?
You know what? I will take anything our city has to offer, because I can have a wonderful time in this New Orleans.
Whoever plays, you're going to have fun.
I will.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nakondra, these floats are just unloading goodies by the gallons. Over and over and over. It's a great time down here. This is one of the best Endymions I've been to, and I've been to probably 6.
I've been to probably 16 or 17.
16 or 17. Wow, you are the expert.
Yeah, it's always a sad year to have to miss it. And, for a few years of being away in school, working away, and we were saying when you live away from New Orleans, it's just another weekend. It's just another Tuesday. And a lot of times it's very hard to have to deal with that. But tonight, getting to be in the experience, getting to be here, where it's all about that big spirit of Endymion, the spirit of Mardi Gras in there, it's really nice to be able to be a part of that. We're going to go ahead and wrap that up and take you back upstairs.
All right, thanks, guys. Boy, it has been quite a week. A snow day, as in S-N-E-A-U-X.
We've had everything this week. A Super Bowl win, a snow day. I mean,
yeah, and if you know,
victory parade.
So often in this business, we spend so much time talking about what's wrong with something or somebody. And this has been a wonderful break just to be a part of this, just to be a spectator along with the rest of New Orleans. Even the snow on the North Shore yesterday wasn't a driving hazard to speak of any sort. It was just a fun day for children more than anything else. So I don't know that I ever recall a time where there has been this much just hyper feel-good moment.
It's nice. It's certainly nice as we hear "Who Dat." We're going to take another break. We'll see you back in a minute.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
Unless we have a straggler, it appears as though the Endymion Extravaganza, the parade portion is wrapping up, although I would draw our attention to the stage where Garrett Hartley is being introduced by Ed Muniz. I think you could call it a thunderous ovation. There's Garrett back to the camera at the moment, posing for a picture with Ed Muniz, the captain of Endymion. Just was introduced as we were coming out. I think Ed joked that Muniz joked that he was a pretty good singer, but I don't think he could coast Garrett into. For a minute there, we thought we were going to have a kicker/singing performance.
That would have been neat. What a whirlwind this has been for him. And look at the crowd. I mean, this is just. I think this is as good of an Endymion crowd as I've seen in years. Let's go to Natasha Robin and Sean Fazan.
Wild down here would be an understatement. I tell you, they were just coming through. The riders were just coming through, and I just wanted to show you they're actually using this to shoot confetti from the float. The riders are actually shooting confetti from this. I'm gonna put it down, and then also I caught a whole bag.
They just threw the whole bag.
Of stuffed animals here and LSU footballs, and you caught something
I got
too.
the one thing I wanted coming to the Endymion Extravaganza. It's this black and gold football here. They're only throwing 42,000 of them off the floats, so I'm saving this one. This is the one thing I wanted to catch. I'm going to keep this one.
I would keep it. Now you can imagine the riders. They've been up
Absolutely.
since early this morning. They went the whole parade route, and they're here in the dome, but the night is not over.
No, it's not.
We caught up with one of the riders here. Tell me, what was it like out there tonight?
The crowds were wonderful. The weather was beautiful. We had a great time. Fantastic.
What would you say, comparing the crowds this year compared to last year, were they bigger?
I think they were bigger. Absolutely.
Given the momentum of the Saints, I mean, how do you think that factored into the whole night tonight?
Everybody was saying, "Who dat? Who dat? Who dat?"
Where were you at for the Super Bowl, and what do you remember most about it, the whole experience, and now tonight kind of wrapping the whole thing up?
I was at a party for the Super Bowl. We had a great time, and we would have went out of town, but we were out of town the week before that. And these crowds are great. It's more tonight than it was for the Super Bowl.
Now, where are you from? Tell me about the organization here, Endymion, and how long you've been a member.
This is my first year I've been a member, but I was born and raised in New Orleans, and I know Endymion started in Gentilly, where I was born and raised, and it's great. It's been growing every year.
Was this your first ride?
First ride in Endymion, yes.
Excellent. And
that's a pretty good year to ride.
Yes, and I rode on the captain's float.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Yes, we had a great time.
So what are you going to do now? Enjoy the extravaganza and the band here? And, of course, I'm sure you'll be here till the wee hours of the morning.
Yes, we will. We're going to stay for all the bands. And I rode, and then I came to catch throws.
Are you looking forward to seeing anyone in particular, any one of the bands?
Yeah, all the bands and my girlfriend, Gabrielle.
There you go.
Okay, you guys have a great time tonight.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself.
John and Nancy, it has been just absolutely wonderful here on the
really
floor.
Has. It's gotten funner by the minute.
We've gotten some great throws that we're not letting go of. I'm going to take a lot of stuff home this year.
I love it.
John and Nancy,
Yeah,
back to you.
Natasha, I think that guy caught a penguin. Did he catch a penguin, one of those coveted penguins?
We did. Actually,
I want to see that penguin.
Get the penguin for us. Okay, we'll have to bring it to you.
Yeah,
in just a little bit, Nancy. We don't have it here, but we do have one, and we are saving it. We're not letting go of it.
Wait a minute. Who caught the penguin?
Actually,
our producer, Amanda
field
Peg, actually caught it. She caught the penguin. She's got it saved. She's going to go find it for us eventually. But
when did you catch that penguin?
God, about an hour ago. And the guy just threw it off the float, so I was like, all right. And then I was holding it. Everyone was trying to get it from me. I was like, no, it's mine.
You're very excited, though, because you know there are a limited amount of those penguins.
Exactly. And the fact that the Endymion penguin was named after the penguin at the zoo was named after Endymion because he was born on Endymion. So the fact that they did that and they're only throwing a limited edition, it was kind of cool.
Right. Well, okay, and I know you're going to keep that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I will bring it down and show you guys. I will take it to you and bring it back down here.
Thanks, ladies. The search for the penguin
I wouldn't
continues.
let go of that, Amanda.
No, I mean, that penguin is like the mystery of the night. I haven't seen one yet.
I'm not really sure people down on the floor, though, understand, how unusual it is, because normally, we'll show some throws during the course of the program. And this year they said, well, you can take pictures of it, but you can't have one to show because they were in such high demand, such short order.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Love's in the air. Thanks.
It's Valentine's Eve here in New Orleans.
Back to the bunting up top. All right, but this has really been a fun night, and we've seen all sorts
What happened? Did somebody win a war? What happened there?
I don't know.
It's VE Day. You do that after VE Day and when the Saints win the Super Bowl. All right. I'll tell you, I think we've been covering this. I think this is about my 16th or 17th, 18th Endymion. Have covered it in my time at Fox 8 for about 15, 16 years now, and I think there was one other year when the parade itself was wrapped up by, in this case, 11:16 when the final float went out. And as I recall on that night, the issue was rain.
Okay.
So they changed up their methods just a little bit over the course of the years. And you get about halfway through and they decide, we won't have the ultimate battle of the bands. We won't have the band on stage. And there was one poor high school band that was trying to get its performance in, and they started up the wise guys on the stage, and that was it.
They're like, we worked hard for this, so they're taking our thunder. But anyway, we'll be right back in a moment with much more of Endymion 2010. The party continues.
You're watching a Fox 8 News special, Endymion Extravaganza.
We have come to that short-lived moment between the parade and the headline acts, the eye of the Endymion storm, but it won't last long.
Let's go to Nakandra and Jennifer Hale down on the floor.
Guys, what a great night. Parade just wrapping up. Everybody, I think, had a fantastic time and caught a ton of loot.
Yeah, right. I think these were for you. Did you get those?
I got those. Someone threw these to me. Don't they smell good?
They're wonderful. They smell great. Must be Valentine's Day.
It must be Valentine's Day tomorrow.
I tell you, this is Mr. Lenny Levinson. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, this is one of the gentlemen that helped us get all of those wonderful throws that we managed to garner off the float. Just tell us about the ride. How was it?
It was a wonderful ride. The weather was great. We had almost as many people as the Saints.
You know what? That's a big deal.
And I completed as many passes with my footballs as Drew Brees.
Talk a little bit about the crowd. How does it compare to previous years' Endymions? And do you think that the Saints have helped get more local folks out excited about the season?
I absolutely think the Saints had more people out. I think the crowds were great. It's one of the biggest crowds we've ever had. It was wonderful.
Good.
How long have you been riding?
A little over 10 years.
And so comparing this to maybe some of your earlier rides, more so.
It's one of the biggest crowds we've ever had. One of the most exciting crowds we've ever had.
How does that make you feel?
Felt great. Everybody was dressed in Saints gear. Everybody's big Saints supporters. It was wonderful.
I tell you what, I saw a ton of black and gold. Mardi Gras may be purple, green, and gold, but there was an awful lot of black and gold out there.
I wish I would have worn black and gold.
Well,
I don't think you're allowed.
I think you're pretty good in this. This identifies you.
You look pretty good.
Do you know what I really want to know? You wouldn't happen to have one of those penguins left, would you? We didn't get one.
If you'd have told me, I'd have saved you one.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Thanks very much.
Thank you,
We're
Mr.
gonna
Levinson.
send it back in.
So much, guys. We're going to wrap it up here for just a moment. We have much more coming up on another edition of Fox 8 News, a special edition running a little late this evening, obviously, but we'll be back from the Dome in just a moment.